All right. We're here. Well. We are back. Herb and I, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the controversial counselor, live in the counselor's corner, live streaming from StreamYard. If you missed last week's show, our main topic was dealing with death. But today we're going to focus, our main subject is going to be how abusive are you when you date? And I know most of you, or many of you, may say, how abusive when you date? Like, who's abusive when you date? But you got to think outside the box. It's more ways of being abusive than what most people think that it may just be physical. A lot of it is emotional in the beginning, but we'll go into that further. All right, but now let's take a look at the other five, actually four essential talking points. Number one, ain't nothing a Christian man can do for me but introduce me to a bad boy. I need excitement in my life. Whoa. Number two, during a discussion, do you want to be right or do you want to be heard? Number three, I want someone who has money, will respect me, treat me nice, and we enjoy each other's company. But that love stuff, get real. And number four, honesty. When people speak it, are they being malicious or arrogant, or is it really in someone else's inability to deal with honesty? And finally, don't forget to stay seated for the Can You Solve Herb's Riddle contest for the $20 Chap stimulus package. Tina Hauser, two-time winner, will be looking to hold on to her title for for the second consecutive week. So here we are, slated for some great conversation, and also we know what the riddle brings. So thank you all for joining us. Tina, she's here. The champ is here. Amy, the former champ, is here. And we look forward to a good show. What's going on, Herb? I'm a little bitter now. Was watching the Steelers game before this, and they look like shit. I've never seen a team that's 11-2 that look. Big Ben is on his last leg. They need to really think about. He need to maybe consider retirement soon because he's done. He's toast. And
Well, you
I'm just gonna leave it at that. Go ahead. You can take the mic, Herb.
I would, you know, as a Steelers fan, I would be optimistic because Pittsburgh has a stable of quarterbacks. They've already shown that they can plug in and play with damn near anybody under center. So I don't think they're really in too bad a situation because the defense is still a defense. Like you said, the offense might be the issue, but you can always retool. I think what they're going to need is to pick up another receiver and possibly I don't know what the tight end situation is, but I mean I really don't see anybody really posing a challenge to Pittsburgh because Baltimore look like they're starting to take on a little bit of water, and Cleveland is, as far as I'm concerned, they're the surprise team this year. So, but I mean, look at the brighter side. You could always be a Dallas fan.
Yeah, I'm just, diehard Steelers fan since 1979. I'm not one that jump on a bandwagon because I moved to that city or your girlfriend's from that city, black and yellow all day long. Don't give a damn. Don't give a damn. I don't care if my brother was playing for the opposite team in the Super Bowl. I want Pittsburgh to win. That's just the bottom line, and that's old school. But that's that. Enough of the football talk. You know how we start off with that. So we're gonna get it cracking up. No, we got Anita in the background, but gonna pull her in a few seconds. Hey, good evening. I'm Rebecca. Hey, Ebony, how you doing? Thanks for joining us tonight in the Counselor's Corner, streaming live from StreamYard. Amy said Vikings fan here. Oh, y'all lost two in a row, so y'all can tuck it in, whatever. Get your popcorn ready for the watch other people play the playoffs. But that's
Yeah,
that.
so they couldn't find any Dallas highlights. But man, this is a really really interesting slate of questions and topics that we're gonna get into. So we're not gonna delay y'all too much. We gonna we gonna pretty much hop right into this. And you know um I'm trying to figure out which one I want to take first because I think either any of these really can pretty much take us a long way. But I'm going to start with I want someone who has money, will respect me, treat me nice, and we can enjoy each other's company. But that love stuff, get real.
Mm.
Now, it's actually almost like a takeoff of what we were talking about last week in terms of dating. And the question is, what does the average person consider to be respect? I mean, because as far as I've seen out here in the dating world, that respect to a lot of people means a lot of different things. I don't think we really have a concise opinion on what respect in a relationship means. Do you want somebody to check in with you? Do you want somebody to uh, not be offended that you do certain things? Just like the jury post, and I thought that was an interesting thing. And the one thing that stood out to me is it almost seemed like a one-sided affair with the women saying that it was a gift they should be able to do what they want to do. And I did see an interesting caveat to that, where the one guy said he's known guys, if a woman receives something from another man, that he will come in and replace that with something bigger and better, which I thought was kind of ironic because a lot of guys will do that. A lot of guys will say, if he got you this, I'll get you this to replace that. So the question becomes, what does an individual want? And what do they consider respect? And the money aspect is always, that's kind of here or there, because that's always going to be determined on where you live, what your lifestyle is, what you plan on doing, what your long-term goals are. So for me, money is really it's a hit or miss. But the respect thing, is always, as far as I'm concerned, that's number one.
So when we go back at first of all, hey Anita, thanks for joining us tonight. How you
Hi.
doing?
Eating as usual.
All right, hey, gotta eat, gotta
My hungry hips.
eat. Gotta eat.
Drinking my eggnog.
So, all right, you got it
Might have
spiked.
something in it, might not.
I think you got something in it. You might as well. It's getting close. It's that holiday season. But when you go back and you brought up that point about the jewelry thing, it's so funny that I posted that. Then all of a sudden, I had to be the target. Like, oh, you must be insecure and all of that stuff. Listen, this is people understand where I get my information from. It could be a conversation, it could be something I read. I got it from somewhere and I put it out there. But just because of that fact, that doesn't mean that. It seemed like to me, you have women that say you want to get over somebody, but yet and still you want to wear a necklace with a charm with his initials on it, and you think that's cool. Now, some people they kind of said, if isn't a ring or anything, I don't see the problem. And then women tried to kind of say, well, it's like a woman buying you clothes. Are you going to stop wearing it? And I think someone, the former champ asked me, would I stop wearing a hat that another woman bought me? And I had said, it might get pushed back in the rotation. And even though it may go with the outfit, knowing me, I'm going to buy another hat. So that hat's going to be deep in the rotation because I'm going to keep my game tight like that. So if you holding on to some damn Pandora bracelet or something some guy gave you, I think I don't know. I don't know if you there yet. I don't know if you there. I don't know if you really want to remove that person, whatever. Every time you put that on, that's just my take. The women were acting like it was do or die. Like, well, it's bought. Once it's bought, it's mine, so I can do whatever I want with it. Most guys will not ask where you got that from or whatever the case is. But I mean, if it's something like you wear all the time, a smart person would say, "Damn, that piece of jewelry must got some sentimental value to you or something." And that's where the conversation may take place. But y'all women, y'all gonna do what y'all want to do anyway. So keep wearing that shit.
Hey, Anita, for you, this is for you. Do you have any items or jewelry or anything of value or sentimental value that you continue to wear that was from a past relationship?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, by chance, if you were dating somebody or involved to the point where the relationship had the potential to progress into something long term, would you consider giving that up or putting it away? Not even selling it or not wearing it when that individual is around. Would you consider doing that for the benefit of the relationship?
I would, because I think that's proper etiquette.
See, and that's another thing. And that, and this is something we discussed before about engagement rings and whether or not they should be returned. And it's a beautiful thing that she actually brought up etiquette, because the etiquette says for engagements that are broken off, that if the man breaks it off, the woman keeps the ring. If the woman breaks it off, she gives it back. Because I know a few women who've been engaged that have broken off the engagement, but they want to keep the wedding ring. So it brings
For what, though?
Correct. And
it's over. It's done. It's time to keep it moving.
And that's what David is saying in terms of, if he was given a hat by somebody he dated, it will see the back of the rotation. Now, me personally, I have a necklace that I was gifted when I was 24. Mind you, I don't wear much jewelry anymore, but that necklace hasn't seen the light of day in literally 25 years. It's still in my jewelry box, but I really don't have a use for it. So it's just, it's kind of ironic.
Why would you want to keep an engagement ring when it's done and over, except for to hurt the other person? But then what is he going to do with it besides sell it and get his money back? Well, he's going to get all of his money back anyway. But if my man is wearing, I'll say, if my man is divorced and he still has his wedding ring, what do you have the wedding ring for? Are you ready to move on? Are you still hanging on to that sentimental value? Because this ain't going to work for me. Because that was something at one time. Now, my ex-fiance, it wasn't really even a real engagement. He just put a ring on it to claim me, if you know what I'm saying. Because we were in Korea. We were stationed in Korea, and he didn't want no other man talking to me. He was a little obsessed with me. That's when I told you he's obsessed with me and smelling my feet. But anyway.
Hold up.
Here we go again.
Smelling your feet?
Yeah.
He's a sick, twisted individual.
No. All I had to do was come home from work. I would sit on the recliner. He takes off my combat boots and my socks, starts the shower. He's got my combat boots spit shine, my uniforms pressed. All I got to do is get in the shower and get in bed. Anyway, that was his way of taking care of me. Back to what I was saying about his engagement ring. It was just something little simple, which I don't care. It was the thought that counts. But then every time he would get in his crazy head, I don't know how to get these things off my screen.
No, you can't.
Okay. So every time he got in his crazy head that somebody was talking to me or something, we would have an argument about something, he would say he wanted his ring back.
Oh, God.
And I said, well, and I was like, no, boo-hoo, the first couple times. But then after a while, I took my ring off. I threw it at him. I said, you want your ring back? Go ahead, because it lost all sentimental value to me at the first time that you said, give me my ring back over something stupid. So, no, I did not want that ring. I didn't even want to wear it anymore. No.
So, but
after I did keep it, because just to piss him off, because he was such a crazy ass. He's like, I want it back. But then his ex-wife said that it was her engagement ring. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me right now? I don't know. She was a batshit crazy woman too. So who knows?
Hey, can you post that? Go ahead, Dave.
All right, I'm going to post that comment, but it takes me to the point, like what Amy has said before, a hat. That would be like me dating someone, and I'll always wear the same hat over and over and over, no matter what outfit I got on, no matter what. I always wear this hat. And then she finally says to me, like, you got other hats that kind of go better with that. Why do you always wear that hat? And then I said, you know what? This is a hat from my first girlfriend from years ago, or not even girl, somebody that was really special to me years ago. And this is my favorite hat. that shit gonna irritate you. Y'all can say that don't bother you or
I
whatever.
ain't gonna say it ain't gonna bother me. I'm gonna tell you straight up that
That
shit
shit gonna
bothers
irritate
me.
you. You're gonna
Take that
find a way to
off.
try to bleach that hat, hide it or something, whatever.
I
So
wouldn't
stop
damage your
playing.
property, but I would tell you straight up. I just really don't think that's appropriate for my what I'm putting into this.
All right, Herb, go ahead and tackle Rebecca's question.
Okay. Now, Rebecca Johnson says, money doesn't mean much to me in a relationship, but one should be able to take care of himself, to which I agree. As I get older, my criteria has changed about what I want in a relationship. Old gifts don't bother me. You have to be pretty insecure to let that bother you. And some people are. You have some men and some women, particularly a lot of men, depending on the value of the gift and whether or not they can actually go out and buy something to replace it or exceed that in terms of cost or value. So to that, I absolutely agree. And there's always a lot of a lot of little nuances in there, depending on what the man sees and the women that he's dating, and whether or not the relationship could progress to something more meaningful. So it's and I believe your your demographics are people that are over the age of 35 for the most part. So
Mhm.
we're into middle life, later years as far as we go. So we're not necessarily looking for financial security. At least most of us aren't. I know I'm not looking for financial
They
security.
shouldn't be.
But you would be surprised because this is
Oh, I ain't even surprised anymore.
what David and I have been talking about in terms of what's coming around the corner next year is with a lot of these government programs that are doing the end. You're going to find a lot of people that are scrambling to make ends meet. They're already talking about the long food lines at at um at not at shelters but at food banks. Um, People potentially losing their place to live, especially people with children. All of this stuff is really coming to a head. So what you're going to find is a lot of people that are scrambling just to live. We're not even talking about survival. Survival is a whole different animal. We're just talking about able to keep your gas on because we're in the winter heating season, keep your lights on, keep a roof over your head. I mean, I don't really think we have really scratched the surface of what could be. So for some people, they're going to be looking for financial stability in a mate. I hope it really doesn't get bad. Whether people start taking the vaccine, whether the vaccine works, whether the side effects, are are deemed. And Rebecca, you might be able to speak on that because I know you're in the medical field. So if you've had to take the vaccine in any way, shape, or form, can you please chime in and let us know? Because I know a couple of people who are in the medical profession, and I'm going to reach out to them because I know our hospital here in Niagara Falls, New York, Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center, was due to receive the shipment sometime this week. I know there's been a lot going on with Como and the outgoing President Trump in terms of what New York is going to get. So, I mean, there's a lot of things at play. So, first and foremost, most people are always going to be concerned about, where they're eating or what if they're eating, where they're living, and their well-being, and that's understandable. I happen to be in a pretty advantageous position myself in terms of my financial stability, and that's something for me I'm always, cognizant of. I'm looking, and I know I've been saying this for probably a month or so, and I probably should have already brought the gold and silver that I was talking about, but I'm also looking into some other types of investments too. I know there's, Dietrich has been on here before and he's talked about cryptocurrency. And I know I have a good friend in Canada who's always posting about cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency is good. The only problem you have to worry about it with investing in the stock market is you have to be in it for the long term. So you're not going to be able to put your money in there. The market goes up, you say, yeah, I'm doing well, and the market goes down. You're like, put it in there and forget about it. It's almost like the Thanksgiving turkey. You got to put it in there and let it rock. Let it do what it does. Lynette Peterson says, respectfully, one should not wear things from a prior relationship, period. He or she really doesn't have to disclose where the item came from just to keep down the argument. And see, that's another aspect. You have some people that care. You have some people that don't care. Me personally, yeah, if it floats your boat, go ahead and wear it. I'm not going to ask you where you got it from. I really
So
don't.
if I wear some lingerie that my ex got me, and you know, You didn't buy me that lingerie. You wouldn't feel offended that I'm wearing lingerie that I had on with me and my
See that?
ex sharing some things.
See that? That's different.
No, no,
That
hold on.
ain't different. It's the same thing.
Let me answer that question. You know
If
why
you,
I'm
if
offended?
you, wait, if you had on some silk boxers that your ex gave you, I would not want you to wear them. But if she gave you some like simple Hanes or whatever you guys wear these days, Hanes, head, whatever, I don't know. And one, I don't care because that's just
In
simple
one.
underwear. Whatever. What is it called? I don't know. I usually
Look,
buy Hanes
listen,
boxer briefs for my man. Like,
listen.
make
I
sure he
don't.
got some new threads because you're supposed to throw them out and change them every year for sanitary purposes.
Yeah, who's gonna say, yeah?
Scientifically.
Who's gonna throw in some lingerie or some silk stuff and say, yeah, my ex? That would be the
It's
stuff
not
that
a
you don't. That would be the stuff that you don't disclose because you can buy that your own self. Like, but typically you might if you put connect the dots and you're a guy and all of a sudden you pulling out silk stuff and you're used to wearing cotton stuff. She might someone may say, well, damn, where that come from or whatever. But
you
if a
don't have
woman
to
has if a
ask
woman has on
though.
a lingerie, whatever, I'm assuming she just got it. It's in her stash, whatever. I'm not gonna go that deep because you're looking for an argument when you say who you wore that for before. When
No,
did
not
you get that?
necessarily looking for an argument. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
would
what it's
feel
gonna end up being.
inappropriate. I would feel inappropriate wearing something from Victoria's Secrets that my ex fiance got me or my ex boyfriend that we were in a long term relationship, and then wearing it for another man. I would feel very inappropriate. I don't
No,
have to
They
say
gonna wear
anything about where it came from. If he asks me, I'm gonna feel even more inappropriate about telling him. Although I don't have no lingerie
you know,
because
I'll put you like
because
this.
once that was over, I don't want no other memories, no other connection to that part of the relationship. And it's not because I'm insecure. I just have certain ideas of proper etiquette in my relationships.
Well,
It's not that I'm insecure.
I'll put it to you like this. I'm gonna tell you to wear it. Wear it well. You know why? Because you won't be wearing it for long.
Well, of course, I won't be wearing it for long.
You'll be wearing it for long. Hey,
I
hey,
mean,
hey, what?
hopefully, I'm going to be swinging from the ceilings, not wearing it long. I mean, but
Hey,
that's not the point.
well, no, but the thing about it is this: it's like Lynette just said. You know, it can start an argument, but, and I stress the but, that's going to depend upon the person that you're dealing with. Me, that stuff doesn't bother me because honestly, the guy might have great taste.
I
Let me
mean,
let
if
me.
he chose me, of course he had great taste.
But look,
Here we
That's besides the
go.
point. Yeah, y'all don't know this side.
let let's
Y'all
put it.
don't know the urban side.
We already know that side. It's been coming
Well,
out.
okay, well, last
Yeah,
week y'all got
yeah,
introduced
yeah.
to
It
the urban
came
side.
out big time. Big time. Actually, the Playboy channel connected with me and said, do we want to go on their channel? Because it was Triple X.
Okay, if all I got to do is, show from my knees down to my feet, I'm down.
The reason why I say that is this: if somebody that you dated or whoever, whatever the case is, male or female, purchased you a wardrobe and the wardrobe looks good on you, I'm gonna tell you, hey, rock it. I see. I don't get caught up in that type of stuff because I understand how life is. For me, life is too short to get caught up in a lot of stuff that throws off my equilibrium. So case in point, let's say I see a woman walking down the street and she wearing a nice pair of heels. Don't necessarily have to be red bottoms or anything high end. I'm like, yo, and I'm looking at them joints. I'm like, yo, them joints look nice. I might wanna purchase something similar for my wife, my girlfriend, or a female that I'm dealing with because those are gonna look good on her. See, I've been
I
known to
mean,
purchase.
only if she don't have like Fred Flintstone feet.
Listen,
I'm just playing.
you and this feet thing. You and this feet thing. Out of 10 feet, probably two of them that look decent.
Mine
most
look
people.
good, not just decent.
I'm not a feet
Okay.
person, so I'm gonna lean toward the other end. But most of that shit is hammer time or whatever the case is, whatever. Corns, bunions, maybe only 2 out of 10 got some like, all right.
I mean, maybe in the sixth,
She can put them
maybe.
on me. She can put them on me or something like that. But for the most part, put on some tube socks, please.
No, my feet are cute, so they just got to deal with it.
I'm gonna sidestep that dialogue, and I'm gonna talk about.
This is not gonna be a conversation of Anita's feet all freaking night long. So we gonna move on because I'm so tired of them damn feet of hers.
I know.
And see, people, this is another dynamic, and when we talk about discussion, this is what we mean. See how the discussion is formed between the three of us. Nobody's yelling over each other. There's nothing contentious. So that leads to the question in the discussion: do you want to be heard or do you want to be right? And some people will say, well, what's the difference? You have some people that no matter what is being talked about, that they view their perspective as the correct as the correct point of view, no matter what information is presented. Just like Anita and I were going back on the BMI concept on a previous thread. And all I'll say is this: I'm not saying that anybody has to agree with the BMI. The BMI is not a close proximity. It's just a tool for people to use to gauge their overall weight. Now, Anita didn't necessarily agree with that because she was talking about the different ethnicities, bone densities, and things of that nature, and that's absolutely true. I don't disagree with that. My only thing is this: regardless of all of that, heart attacks and coronary disease still hits humans the same way. So if you're overweight, go ahead, Anita. You're shaking your head. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm listening. It doesn't actually. It doesn't. It hits different ethnicities differently, and male and females differently. Just like diabetes hits African American males differently than it hits white Caucasian females. But in general, we're all human and we're all predisposed to something. But if you want to use that as a American standard, that's incorrect because we're all made of something different in other countries. I'm Western Asian, so that doesn't include China or Korea. I ain't that little. But China and Korea have a different body standard.
No, but the BMI is not. It's not an American standard. That's what I was trying to get you to understand. It's a universal standard that can be applied across any demographic, regardless of where you come from. Like I said, it's not an approximate. The only way you're going to get a true reading of what your BMI is to go to a physician. They will do the necessary tests to tell you approximately what your BMI is. And I'm just saying, in the absence of going to a physician, the BMI is a pretty good scale to determine if you need to lose weight. Now, you said earlier in that thread that thin doesn't always necessarily mean healthy, and you are correct. This is where the bulimia and anorexia nervosa comes in, or the anorexia comes in.
Or so, drugs.
Yes, absolutely. Thin people are not always healthy. Mm-hmm. That's predicated on particularly for women, is going to be predicated on your height, your body type, whether you're an apple, banana, and I think there's one other one. Same thing for men. Men come in 3 types, regardless of our height. We either slender build, we're medium build, or we're large build.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get back on topic. We're off topic. I told you I didn't have the mental capacity to debate this subject.
No. This is a discussion point. This is one of the talking points.
Oh,
and
it is. I didn't really understand that it was.
But this is what I mean. Are you able to sit down at let's say you're in a social engagement. Let's say you're at a gala and somebody brings up something that has the potential to be contentious, and the discussion almost gets sidetracked, and you realize, you say, you know what, I don't need to be right. Let me listen to this individual, and then we can try and figure out a consistency to where we're exchanging information, because we don't know where the exchange of information is going to lead. Hold on, let me see if I can get the link for Rebecca.
Well, let me read Chris TJ's comment. This kind of went back, but it was a lengthy response, so I'm going to acknowledge that. She said, everyone has a life before the next person that comes into their life. No one should have to get rid of their previous life to be with the new person. The discussion to me doesn't make sense because I don't know how it's even being brought up. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm not asking who gave him what, and he shouldn't be telling me who gave and who gave it to him. I don't get it. Well, and some people, it will be a non-factor to go back to that point. But there are some people that's not there, and they're insecure, and they're gonna ask. So therefore, this conversation is worthy of having. Just because we may get it, or some other people may get it, but there's some people that just don't get it. And if they're listening, this possibly could help them. So that's the relevance of it all, that we're not all cut alike. We're not all from the same cloth. So therefore, that's why it's brought up.
And it's not, like I said, it's not because I'm an insecure woman, because I'm a quality woman. I'm educated. You know, I have a lot of cultural diversity that I've been exposed to. But for me, it's not the fact that I'm insecure. It's the fact that you have history with that person, and I'm trying to be about me and you making our own memories, not about you wearing your old memories. I mean, I'm trying to be about me and you making our new memories, not about. I think it's just inappropriate if it's sentimental, like something like pants or high heels. That's not really sentimental. Bras, that ain't. I mean, they don't stay on when I come home. My bra comes off and I'm in my pajamas, so that don't affect me. But it's not because I'm insecure. Is my point.
Now, I want to go back to the point, that talking point about people. Do they want to be heard? What's it? Want to be heard, or
You want to be right,
or heard? And the great Stephen Covey, talks about that, and also Dale Carnegie. Like, sometimes when you're going back and forth, when you're thinking about relationships, really, there's no winner in an argument. There's no winner. And a lot of people like to be heard, and they don't want to eat the humble pie to say, you know what, you're right, I get it, or just to save face. And I think Dale Carnegie talked about sometimes we just have to save face for people, and just let them have it. And my grandmother, I'm always going to make reference to my grandmother. She used to always say, when her and my grandfather would, they never really went toe to toe because he wasn't a confrontational person like that. He was just a crap talker, like I talk crap. But she would say, sometimes she would tell me, sometimes when he walk away, sometimes I just let that man talk. He don't know nothing. I just let him talk to make him feel good. And sometimes people do that. You just let people talk. But there's some that always has to be heard, even though they're not right. So sometimes you gotta sit back and you gotta say, is it worth it? And that's where the save face comes for. Because like I said, there's no winner in the argument. There's no winner. Either somebody's feelings gonna get hurt, they're gonna get upset. And now if you walk away with your chest poked out, yeah, I got her. I got her. Look at her. Now she in a fetal position crying. I'm the man. Shame on you. Shame on you, because you should feel some kind of bad about that, and vice versa. If you're a woman and you're like, oh, I done made him go down to his man cave and he put a hole in the wall, I got his ass out. Shame on you too. So that's not what it's about. So sometimes we got to learn to be effective listeners, and listen and listen to understand instead of listen to respond. And a lot of people just like to respond without effectively listening. I'm done.
I'm just it's riddle time, so I'm just putting the riddle in there. So y'all go ahead and continue.
Well, you might want to announce the riddle.
Yeah.
You write it in.
Or I'm gonna do them both at the same time.
So that's my kind of take on that. Being heard or being right, because I don't know. I mean, for somebody who gets off of being always get off of being right, that says something right there. I don't care about that point. I care about us coming to an agreement, and hopefully we can understand each other and we can move forward. But a lot of times when you have somebody who's always aiming to be right, then that's their whole thing. They can argue all night long, long as they're right. But what does that do? What does that do for the relationship?
All right, let me jump in here and there you go.
Baby.
Hey, people! I want y'all to welcome Rebecca Johnson to the
Hi.
stream.
Hey, Rebecca, how you doing?
She's down in the state of Texas. She's gracing us with her presence tonight. Thank you, Boo Boo.
You're welcome, baby.
All right, let me read the riddle real quick. Knees, elbows, or fists. They help you move to the group of these brothers. It helps to loosen you up. It's posted in the chat. Have at it, people. $20 per line. And keep in mind, people, that
right here.
you need
I'm
to
like
have
trying to
a
read all this.
to collect. If you answer correctly and you don't have a cash app, it will go back into the pot for next week. Just so we are, just so people are aware, because I know we're streaming to YouTube now, so we might have some new listeners and new joiners. So understand, you need to have a cash app to collect. If you want to answer and win and not collect, that's fine. It doesn't bother us because it's going back into the pot like New York State Lotto. It'll be $40 next week. But we're getting into an aspect of honesty too, which is another thing that people, it's that mask that everybody seems to talk about. People they want to wear so they can try and get over somebody and get something that they want from somebody. And me personally, I don't understand it. This is something we've also discussed before, that if you want something from somebody, hey, put it out there. Hey, they may want the same thing you do.
That is true.
and I've mentioned this gentleman's name before, Alan Roger Curry in his mode 1. Yeah, you never know. That female might be on the prowl for what you're offering. Put it out there.
Now, when you talk about that point about honesty, do people want it? It kind of makes me go back to a presentation I had with my middle school students, which is still relevant with adults. And in the conversation, it was talking about how just about being an empathetic, having empathy for people. And sometimes in certain situations, people want to be honest and they say things like somebody brings you some information and you come with the saying like, when my honest opinion, or to be honest. And sometimes honesty, you you might have to gauge it, and that person might not be ready for your honesty. So again, KYP, know your personnel.
Mhm.
And I'm not telling people not to be honest, but it's certain times or certain situations where you may have to hold back your honesty and say, you know what, I'm gonna save face. I'm not gonna give my honest opinion because I know this person's not ready for that yet. So that's something to think about too when you come with, especially when you come with those things. In my honest opinion, or to be honest, this is this. Think about that other individual, how they're gonna receive the information.
Yeah, and to that point, some people will look at somebody that's telling them something, and they'll say, "Oh, you're just being mean," or "you're just being malicious," or "you're just arrogant." Because I get that often, and I tell people, I say, "Look, I'm not trying to hurt you, but if you ask, it's the old proverbial question that a lot of men have to deal with when their significant other asks them, does this dress make me look fat?" That's a setup question. Don't ever ask a man that question unless you really want that man's honest opinion. It's like David said, you have to know who you're dealing with. So if you know that your significant other, whether male or female, because we both gain weight, ask you something to make them look heavy, you got to figure out how to throw that fastball in there without hitting them, because it's gonna ruffle some feathers for some people that really can't deal with the unadulterated truth. And a lot of people say, well, they were just trying to hurt me, or that they just don't like me, or is it that, or is it your inability to deal with the reality that you are in? It's like it's like they tell people that are recovering addicts, or I'm sorry, not recovering addicts, drug abusers or alcohol abusers. The first thing you have to do is admit that there's a problem. And if you don't admit there's a problem, then you can't fix it. And most people will ask a question because they're seeking an opinion from somebody who more than likely won't be an echo chamber. Because if you're just looking for an echo chamber, you might just hang out with your friends that's really never going to tell you anything. And I think that's a one-way ticket to disaster for a lot of people. Because if you're headed, or you're in a situation where a bad move put you in a worse situation, then I would behoove anybody to go find somebody that's going to give you the truth, because it might be that truth that stops you from going down a cliff or going off a cliff.
But I feel like it's also the presentation and the pitch and the words, body language, and everything else that you use to tell the person what they need to know.
Yes.
Because I'm not one to tell my friends what they want to hear to validate what they want to be right about. If you tell me, should I stay in this relationship, and he does X, Y, Z, and he's an emotional manipulator, I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you the hard truth, but I'm gonna put it in such a way, because I know that person. I'm gonna pitch it and deliver it in such a way that they'll be receptive, and instead of saying, well, you're stupid for staying. No, that ain't gonna work.
I agree with what she said. Intent versus impact has everything to do with you. What you're intending to say and how a person receives it can always be two different things. You can tell somebody to shut up, or you can tell them to be quiet. And how that person receives that means everything. Most women, you can't talk to them about their man. You just can't. I don't know why, but until they're ready to make a move.
To move on.
Girlfriends hate for life. Never tell your girlfriend anything bad about your man, because they
Stuff
hate for
always
life. You might forgive them, but your girlfriend's gonna hate them forever. Being in nursing, we have to learn empathy, but we also have to tell our patients the truth. And it might take me a while to get to a point where I tell a diabetic, you're going to lose your vision, you're going to lose your legs, or whatever the case may be. But eventually I'm going to get to the truth with that patient. And that tends to carry me over into everything in life. I don't like liars, never have. So I don't like being lied to. And for the most part, if I ask you a question, I want your honest opinion. You don't have to tell me I look raggedy, even if I do, but you can tell, you can tell me to change my outfit because it doesn't suit me, but you don't have to tell me that I look raggedy. So I really believe it's how you present that truth to a person. They're more apt to receive it.
And also the type of relationship you have with that person. Like one of my best friends, I would tell her, girl, you look raggedy. You need a change. My other best friend, I'd be like, well, I think this would go better with your outfit than that purse.
Yeah.
KYP.
Let me ask you a question then. Because as men, we tend to speak more directly. And I understand how that comes across to women.
Abrasive.
And I'm not going to say it's not abrasive, because that's how women tend to take it, because women, it's like BGS says, women feel the world, men think the world. So there's always going to be a disconnect between, it's like you said, Rebecca, impact versus intent. For the most part, I don't believe men are intending to be malicious when we speak in a certain way, because I'm always told that people don't like my tone. And I'm like, my tone is my tone. If I tell you something, I'm just telling you. I'm not here. I'm not there. I'm not over here. I'm not over here. I'm direct. And I get this at work all the time. Well, they said they didn't like this tone. Just because I said no, you don't like the fact that I said no. Even if I said, you know what, I can't do it, you're still going to be upset. No, I can't do it. Is it really?
That's not necessarily true, Herb. You know how you are.
I
So
know.
Ow.
enough said. But you can tell somebody no. It's just like saying no to your wife or your husband versus saying no to a 3-year-old child. You can change the tone of your voice. You
No,
know,
no,
when
no.
you say no, and you tend not to do that, just like you're doing
Correct.
right now. No, 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 no. You
No, you're
know,
correct.
and you
You're
know
correct.
how you are. So I
You're,
mean,
you're correct. I don't change my tone, which is what I'm saying. That's why I said I'm not a
Herb
behavior.
is listening to respond. He ain't hearing me. I mean,
right.
he ain't hearing you.
You could change your tone is what I'm saying. You just
Yes,
choose
you're
not
correct.
to.
I could. I said, but I said I don't. I never
And
said I.
that's why men are abrasive, because y'all don't want to change your tone when you're talking to different
So,
people.
so Herb, so let me interject. So you can't have the same tone in every situation. So you have to adapt. It could be somebody like, man, they going through it. I may have to speak in a calmer fashion, or if it's with a kid, a younger kid, you might have to like, okay, I got to get down to their level and speak in a softer tone.
Yeah,
Some
No,
everybody's
people,
not ready for
yeah.
that in your
I
face
will
stuff.
speak in a different way. I don't raise my voice. I don't lower my voice. I'm just there. And like I said, people have a problem with that because they view that as being unsympathetic, when in actuality, it's quite the opposite. Very rarely has anybody ever heard me yell. It's rare because I don't. I don't believe in it. I believe in speaking to people in a calm manner. I've been in situations to where I could, but I didn't. Because for me, it doesn't aid communication. I'm versed enough with the English language that I can reach just about anybody in any particular way. I've had people yell at me, curse at me, call me niggers at work, and my response is still the same. Because in security, you have to be measured. So
Yeah,
you're.
but you don't have to raise your voice
I never did. I don't.
to show disrespect or uncaring or unfeeling, attitude in your speech. You can be just as calm as the next person and still make a person feel put off, by what you're saying. So I
No,
just think, you know,
no, I understand it, and that's the point that I'm getting at. When people start to read into things that aren't there, it's from their own perspective, and I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just simply saying that somebody's labeling something of a behavior of somebody because it doesn't make them feel good.
yeah, but perception is everything.
Absolutely, I don't
So
question.
if the way you speak to me, if I perceive that to be demeaning or hostile, and I tell you that, why wouldn't you come back at me a different way?
Because this is the problem that it creates. If you're having just how you are for everybody else, then eventually you aren't who you are because you have to do. And it's different. And let me preface this: if you're dealing with people and that's your job, I understand. All I'm simply saying is this: people want you to jump through hoops to appease them. And
Nobody's asking you to jump
no,
through a
no,
hoop,
Mm-mm.
but if every time you
no, no,
speak
no.
to me, I
Hold,
feel
hold, hold on, hold on,
offended.
hold on. I'm not saying you. I'm just speaking in general terms. There's a lot of people that don't like the way a lot of other people speak. They say, well, he's always mean to me or she always treats me like this. But they never stop to ask, can I approach this person in a different manner to get a different result? They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
And but I believe that if that were brought to you, that it wouldn't change. I change my tone of voice with each patient, my boss, my coworkers, my kids, my friends, strangers out on the street. You make adjustments and you adapt almost every moment of your life, dealing with people. So if the way you speak to me or someone speaks to me, if I find it offensive and I can't speak on it and it can't be resolved, well, just stop speaking to me. But I'm just saying.
No, no, and that's exactly what I'm getting at. My whole thing is this. But and I'll take a situation that I had to work uh about a month ago. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the background about it, but needless to say, there's a female that came out and asked me because I was doing pool duty at the time, and they had to leave the beverages there. Now I'm sitting there listening to a podcast, taking some notes, writing some things down. And she asked me, did I try and drink out of a drink?
Wow.
I didn't respond. There was no need for me to respond. And she asked me, was I mad? I said no. Just a typical flat out no, and continue to do what I'm doing. So next week, there's a complaint about the individual having a bad interaction with the pool guy. Now, let me ask you this question. What kind of woman would ask a strange man that she doesn't know, that type of question?
If you drink out of
Obviously,
her
that
drink.
person, and I'm sure that's not the only person. So if you can deal with it effectively on her level, you don't necessarily have to change it. Hold on, I'm talking.
Hold on.
You don't necessarily have to change yourself. You can change the approach to the situation to make it smoother. No,
Thank
no.
you.
Thank
you.
I'm
not
asking
listening.
because you're not understanding the question.
Yes, I did understand the question.
What type of person? Not why. What
She
type
ain't
of
trying to psychoanalyze them. It's just a situation and how you handled it and how she perceived it.
Well, see, let me interject. For me, it's something like that. Sometimes you can use humor in that too. Like, do I look thirsty, or what makes you think that I would drink? I don't drink after anyone. What would
Or a
make you think
simple
I would take
no.
drink? Something like that. Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, you right. Then it makes other people think like, yeah, you right. I'm tripping or whatever the case is. But if you come out, no, or hell no, I didn't drink that.
It's going to come
It's gonna be
about a
different.
different
Whatever, it's gonna
result.
be different.
Thank you.
All right. Now, let me tell you the end result. I had to deal with being written up behind that because I said no. She was looking to flirt, and because I didn't reciprocate, she felt offended. Because that's the only reason a woman is going to ask a man that type of question. Think about it. It was alcoholic. I don't know her, and we are in the midst of a pandemic. What kind of question is that, really? Think about that.
I mean,
But you
every
could still
time
be-
you get up and go to the bathroom and you leave your drink at the bar,
I
what
don't
did your parents always teach you? Throw it away because you never know. It was at the end of the day, it was just a question. It doesn't make a difference if it was stupid to you. It was probably valid to her. And all you really had to do is just answer it and keep it moving. Instead, you want to know how crazy she was.
No. Right. What I'm saying is she wasn't asking to see if I actually did. She was looking for an interaction that I didn't give her.
That's what maybe she was having a bad day. She needed somebody to.
She was,
and that's why I think that's when humor would come involved in that you could have came. You would come with that response that she would be like, "Oh, okay," and you might get a smile out of her, and then it's a different program, but I don't know. Everybody's cut different on how they respond to things.
Wasn't interested in the slightest.
It doesn't matter if you don't have to be interested, but you could still be.
But
you could still be
polite.
Casually polite. Yeah.
But that's my point. There is no way that I could have said no that would have been polite as far as she's concerned. Because it was.
I don't think that's true.
I'm telling you, it's not what it's not what it's saying.
That's just him.
Oh, they got you on the ropes, Herb. They got you on the ropes.
That's just him.
If he's listening to respond, he ain't listening to listen.
That's just him.
You ain't learning nothing from this conversation.
No, not nothing at all.
No,
not one thing.
You ain't telling us nothing except for you ain't listening to what we perceive could have been done better.
No. I'm not.
Well, we got somebody else on here. Scorpio T, thanks for joining us in the Counselor's Corner.
Love you.
StreamYard, how you doing?
I'm all right. How y'all doing?
I definitely want to give you a chance to kind of throw your 2 cents in. It might be worth more than 2 cents. That's just a whole saying. It may be worth $1. But what do you think so far from what you heard that you want to add to?
I'm unsure because I did not hear the story.
My story about the female who asked me if I had drank from her beverage.
Yes.
Okay. To encapsulate it, I was doing pool duty, and at the hotel, we only allow so many people in the pool, so I'm there to monitor. The group was trying to bring in beverages to which they couldn't do, so they set the beverages over next to where I was standing. Now the lady came out and asked me if I drank out of her beverage.
That's so funny to me.
Yes, I agree. I didn't respond because I thought it was a crazy question. She asked me if I was upset, to which I just said no, and continued to do what I was doing, which was writing notes and listening to a podcast. Now, the next week, I had a complaint lodged against me that the individual had a bad experience. I'm not saying the individual did it, but my whole thing is this. She was trying to flirt with me to the point where I didn't reciprocate. Now, what they're
Why would you think she was trying to flirt with you? Maybe she was trying to brighten your day because you look miserable.
You blew that one. You blew that one. When she asked you, were you upset?
For my drink because I like you.
Hold on. I'm telling you guys why she did it.
How do you know why? Did she tell you that's why?
Why would you ask a stranger?
So now you work for Miss Cleo and her psychic friend, right?
Hold on. Why would you ask a stranger if they drank out of your drink and you continue to drink from it if you thought they did?
Maybe she thought you looked miserable and wanted to brighten your day with a joke.
I'm going to tell you what was wrong with
because I do that a lot too. I make jokes when people in public look, like they're having a bad day, or they look like whatever kind of face you want to call it, and I'll just say something stupid, like when I had my angiogram, I had to say something stupid because the doctor was like, "You're gonna feel a little prick," and I was like, "Well, I'd rather feel a few booty smacks." Just to lighten the mood in the operating room when I was getting my angiogram. So it wasn't necessarily that I was being crazy. I was just trying to lighten the mood for everybody and myself.
I'm going to interject this. I'm going to say this about your experience. Being that you were in the hospitality industry, your response was wrong.
Okay.
Because hospitality mean, I worked at a hotel, so I know the crazy. I actually had a customer get mad because I didn't know where Michael Jackson's house was, and literally complained about it. But when you're in the hospitality industry, you have to lay aside your personal thing. Yes, there was a super dumb question because who asks a stranger if you drunk out of their drink? But I wouldn't take that as someone trying to fly. I wouldn't. I would throw the drink away and go get a new one.
But didn't. She drank from it.
That's what I was going to say. But your response was incorrect because you were in the hospitality industry, which is why you got a complaint lodged against you.
You got to be hospitable when you're in that industry, right? That's one of the requirements, right?
It's totally different in Texas, right? Everybody is so nice in Texas because I lived in Texas for 8 years.
Yeah,
where I live.
I'm a nurse. I gotta be nice. I have to check my feelings at the door because I have no choice. I'm dealing with too many different variables. Whether I like a patient or not, they would never know it. I promise you that. They would absolutely never know it. I represent my company well, and that's what I'm saying about this. Maybe it was stupid. Maybe she was just trying to break the ice and be friendly. Maybe she was trying to flirt. For shits and giggles, let's say she was trying to get at it. You shot her down the way you shot her down. You could have did that a little better.
Correct, because
a gentleman about it.
Issues with people complaining about stuff like that. So in order to avoid it, you don't engage in it. That's why.
So you chose to ignore her.
No,
that's why you got that. That's why you got that. You got that complaint because you
Complaint.
just
Yep.
totally ignored when you could have simply said no, ma'am. You could have just said no, ma'am.
And laugh.
Would you like another drink? And
Or-
that would have been the end of that. You probably would have got a wonderful complaint, but you know, because she was trying to get at you and you wasn't interested, you chose to say nothing and
be standoffish, and it came across rude.
because that's
And I think that's where it went wrong. Like I said, I would have said no. Actually, I'm not even thirsty, so it couldn't have been me who drank it, and would have kept it moving and got back on my post. And then she might have said, I was just joking anyway. I know you didn't drink my drink, and it would have went a different way.
Why would you ask somebody they're going to drink an alcoholic beverage?
She was joking. She was really joking.
Maybe your face looked miserable.
Like
maybe your face looked miserable and she wanted to lighten the mood for you. I do that all the time. If I see somebody looking stressed and miserable, I'll crack a joke or say something and they think I'm serious.
Listen,
like people that don't know me don't know me.
Listen. And I heard this from somebody a long time ago. Kids come in, middle school kids, they come in with attitude, and I say that, oh shit, who peed in your Cheerios? And they like, what? What? That's gross, Mr. Glover. But then they realize nobody peed in my Cheerios. Why you say that? Because somebody made your day miserable or whatever the case is, and they leave it at that, and we're fine. They don't say, oh, I'm going to the administrator because Mr. Glover says somebody peed in my Cheerios.
I'm telling y'all, this year across the board has been an exceptional year for complaints. You don't have to believe me.
When I worked with truck drivers, and y'all know that truck drivers can be extremely rude. That was what our hotel catered to. So I learned over the course of time that regardless of whatever they're asking you, you have to address it. It can be the most simplest, basic thing that you would think someone would know the answer to, and you still have to address it because it was important enough to them to mention it to you. So it has to be important enough to you to address it. Now, with that being said, they can be very rude. And some of them you have to check and put in your place because they have certain ideations in their mind. But for the most part, it's easy peasy to get somebody to be nice to you. And again, I'm with you. If I think someone is having a bad day, I'm the kind of person that's gonna crack a joke. So whether or not the lady was trying to flirt with you or not, I would venture to say no, only because she filed a complaint against you. People do not file complaints against people that they want to have some sort of exchange from.
I'll put it to you like this. This year, we have seen things that we have rarely to never seen at our place. And I work at a hotel that's considered pretty much high end. Not just me. I can see if it was just me, but we're getting complaints like this from everybody across the board. This is what I'm telling you guys when I say y'all don't get it. Y'all thinking it's me.
Well, that's the way you presented us the story of what happened.
No, y'all. Hold on. You guys are going off based on what you know of me because you didn't ask, does this happen to anyone else?
No, because everybody else wasn't part of the story. It was about you and the exchange of this woman's words.
I based it off the fact that you said, what type of woman would ask me that question? I based it strictly off that. Like, I don't even, who cares what type of woman she is?
Right. I just answered based on the industry.
If I left my drink sitting there, I might ask somebody, did you touch my drink? Did somebody touch my drink? I never would have left it anyway. Who am I kidding? But your response is, what type of woman would ask such a question?
No.
That's what you said.
That's exactly what he said.
You said it more than one time. What type of woman would ask that question? I'm that type of woman to ask that question because I'm a little bit off my rocker. Okay? Sometimes I am off my rocker from my PTSD and my anxiety, and I will bust out with some craziness. And somebody got to bring me back to earth. Be like, girl, nobody drank out of your drink. You're being silly.
That's the question.
Like, okay.
That was not my reaction to her. I didn't have a reaction to her when she asked that question.
So you didn't say
Exactly.
nothing at
Which
all?
was perceived as standoffish and rude.
And then you turned around and said, what type of woman would ask that question?
No, I didn't.
Yes,
Clearly,
you
it must have been the
did.
type of woman that you would
That's
never
the
venture to
question that
speak
I'm
to
asking.
anyway.
And
You ignored her.
So you asked the panel. So you didn't say anything at all to her?
the only thing I said was no when she asked me, was I mad? That was it.
And
Why
then you
didn't you
asked
answer her
us what
question?
kind of woman would ask a question like that. What if it was a man? What if it was a midget? What if it was like a Chinese person?
You know he got
That's
issues
repulsive.
with women.
Period.
So at the
That's
end
repulsive.
of the day, I'm
That's
not surprised that you said that. What type of woman would ask that question?
Yes.
A
If that was
curious
me,
woman.
I would have continued to poke the bear just to get some more conversation out of you because you were being rude and standoffish, and that wasn't my intent. And my intent was maybe to make you smile and get that mean old look off your face. So there.
Right. The
But
only
There it
reason
is.
I responded like I did was because it was an industry question, in my opinion. You were
no,
speaking, I mean, it was a hotel,
I've been in this
hospitality.
industry for 30 years. Trust me, I understand how to react and how to respond to certain situations. That was just repulsive. Never. That's the equivalent to, let me put it to you like this. That's the equivalent of you going to the bathroom at a restaurant and coming back and asking the server, did you eat off my plate?
Well, see,
That's nasty as hell.
Okay,
stuff
That's
like
just flat
that.
out nasty.
but is it that important? Is it that important to get worked up over it and be like, what kind of person would ask that? Because you know what? When people come over my house and they ask to use my bathroom, I say yes, as long as you wash your hands with the hand soap. And when they come out of the bathroom, I say, did you remember to wash your hands? And that's just because my personal preference, because it's my house, and I'm sorry, I don't want your dick germs on your hands all over my house.
You're conflating two different
Right?
conflating two different
I'm done.
Girls know what I'm talking about.
What's
You
the next
females know what I'm
topic?
talking about.
What's the next topic? Can we just move on to the next topic?
Yeah, because to me this is kind of simple. Whatever you know what she know not. You know she you didn't do it,
Yeah.
and that would be just like if you was around a family gathering and you came out and you left your drink and you like, man, you was drinking on my drink. They not really got like the hell no, I was drinking on your drink, and you move forward and you laughed it. So sometimes I think, and I understand what you're saying, Herb, too. It's a lot of complaints. So you're like, yo, I'm not even giving them this, whatever. Any extra conversation, because
Right.
it might go sideways, whatever.
It had.
Sometimes you got to have a little in-between game or something.
How long y'all been friends? Y'all been friends for a long time, right?
We know each other. Yeah, we've
You
been
know
on.
how he is, right?
Yeah.
So stop covering for him.
I'm not covering for him.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
there's certain things that I'm not gonna move off of.
Okay.
I don't care who said
Again,
what.
Herb,
I
So
don't
if
care.
you
how
always
you
think
are.
you're right,
You
No.
know how
you're
you
not
are.
listening to
Nope.
listen.
Nope.
You're listening to respond.
Oh, somebody said from YouTube, I thought girls were the one with the cooties when you said the dick germs. Oh, wow. Great job from America.
I mean, but women, after we use the bathroom, we know we're wiping down there. So
No,
generally,
hold up.
hold on. You did not let me finish. Hold on, you did not let me finish.
I'm
I'm
the
not
captain
done
of this
saying
ship.
what I gotta say, okay? I'm
But I'm
saying I have
gonna let
been.
you finish.
Hold on, you're not even listening. I said most women will understand they need to wash their hands after they've been wiping down there, right? I've been in the casino buffet bathroom when females did not wash their hands, and I asked them, and I would generally like casually tell them, hey, this sink over here is working.
Not true. Okay. I'm gonna
But I think just because they don't touch their dick, they ain't getting dick germs all over my house because they don't wash their hands after they go to the bathroom.
Can we just move on?
Yeah.
Move on.
Rebecca, we're gonna finish this because I know that many in the places I work, many people say the women bathroom is more nastier than the men's bathroom.
It is.
And even sometimes I'm waiting to use the bathroom, like, damn, I gotta pee like a racehorse. And then you see women coming out the men's bathroom. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Glover. the girls' bathroom is just it's disgusting.
It's
And
only
Yeah.
nasty because women don't want to touch anything when they go in there, so they're willing to drop shit all over the floor and that type of
cooties,
tomfoolery to get them
cooties.
up out of there. But yes, it's filthy nasty.
Let's
Yeah,
move on to the next topic,
yeah,
y'all.
I'm
Yeah.
with you on that one. Let's move
This
on.
is a dead
Uh-huh.
horse. This
We
We
is a
just
dead
got
gonna
horse.
y'all on the
clarify that
rope.
right quick.
Yeah, we got y'all on the ropes. But anyways,
You got me on the ropes.
Me neither.
All right, here's another talking point. Ain't nothing a Christian man can do for me but introduce me to a bad boy. I need excitement in my life. Ladies, y'all can handle that one.
I need
Wait,
both,
what?
so I'm just gonna throw that out there right quick.
so you don't want no straight up person that's
I need
hey.
a man with a strong belief in God, work ethic, jokes, sex, the whole nine. He needs to be well rounded. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
I'm good with just that.
all right.
Most,
Anybody else?
most of my long-term relationships have been, they've surprisingly been sexually conservative. My last ex was a captain in the Army when we lived in Texas. We went to church together every day. And I asked him, is this something you want to do? Because his upbringing as a black man, he was brought up as Baptist. We weren't going to a Baptist church. But he liked the church, we liked the congregation, but he was very sexually conservative. And I was like, okay, that's who he is. I'm just going to deal with it. So what was the point of the question again? I must
So,
be really
and right,
tired.
You,
Oh,
you,
to
so I
you
piggyback,
didn't
listening?
mind.
You
My
listening to respond, not listening to
No, I got a
understand.
lot of stuff on my mind. So my point was, I didn't mind that he didn't bring his wild side, but we were still in the church.
Okay.
I
all
mean,
I'm
it
gonna
didn't.
say is that statement is a reflection of their priorities. They don't speak for me.
Well, no, that's why we're asking. Because I can't well, let's look at it like this. A lot of females when they're younger, and I'm speaking in their very late teens to early to maybe mid-20s, kind of gravitate to the guy who's going to bring them some type of excitement. And I don't know if women grow out of that as they tend to age. And the same thing with younger men. Younger men tend to look for women who are a little more sexually promiscuous, a little more attractive, a little more physically to their liking. So it's not just that men do this, but the question came from a female's perspective. That's why I put it out there because let's face it, we all have a type that we like, whether that's a type like Rebecca said, that's God fearing, able to make money, stand on their own and joke. There are certain things that I just absolutely don't do. I don't go to church. Don't ask me. That's no.
So what qualifies as excitement then? Because
Well,
to me, that's a to each his own type thing. I don't
It
want a
is.
man that's full of drama and bring me issues and problems. And some people call that excitement. That's not exciting to me.
Right.
Exciting to me is let's have a new experience. Let's do
Right.
something that we've never done before. That's excitement. So that's a hard question to answer unless you qualify what the definition of exciting is, in my opinion.
To
That's
me,
like asking somebody what's a real man. I mean,
That's
what it
again,
is
that's
to me and what
relative
it
to
is to the
perception.
next woman is two totally
Right.
different things. So I
and
agree.
to
That's a
me,
question that you cannot get a blanket answer to that question because
Right.
it's based on the perception and the relevant perception of whoever the individual is. So, other than saying they're male and they have male parts, that's about as good as you can get with that answer.
That is,
yeah,
I agree with that.
and that's the beauty of it all. Whatever somebody can put something out there, but their interpretation of excitement may be different. They may be thinking about somebody to say, okay, they're in the church and okay, we're going to do Bible study. We have this retreat with the church coming up, and they're like, hey, I'm tired of being around these people. Let's do something different. I want to hang out with a different group of people. I want some other stimulation. So it depends. It varies. Like you said, there's no cookie cutter approach
No.
in that word. It's just the way you interpret it and the way people kind of perceive it.
And when you like, once somebody did mention something about being young, when you're young, you don't know how to You haven't learned how to prioritize things and understand the difference between drama and excitement, so on and so forth. So when you're a teenager, everything is exciting because you're experiencing everything for the first time. And then when you grow up and you 18 or 21, you leave your parents' home, you're running wild because everything is wide open. It doesn't mean that it's excitement. It just means that you have not learned how to evaluate things in your life yet. And that's just my little old opinion though.
I agree with that though. When I was younger, I definitely needed him to know how to fight. I don't know why, but it just seemed like
You felt protected and
that's
safe.
what he had to do. Now that I'm older, I'm just I'm on the downslope of life now. So I'm just trying to retire and live my best life right now. So my priorities have changed. All my children are grown. They're all doing their own thing. And so I'm not so concerned about having a man in my life that would be a good father figure. I'm more concerned about somebody that can meet my personal needs, the things that I like to do. So I'm with her. It changes over time with growth, maturity. I mean, some women never grow out of that. That's really what they want is a thug. And, do you, who am I to say that that's wrong? But I'm with her. You can't really put that in a bottle because it's different for different people.
It's true. Let me read Marcia's comment. She said the type of man that would attract my attention would be one who is well-rounded with a spiritual belief. He doesn't necessarily have to be one who goes to church on a daily basis.
I agree with that. I would want a man that could do that would want to at least try something new and one that is grounded. So I like that answer.
Now let me read John from America. He said he's on YouTube. I think the fact that one gender speaks to another automatically creates some poor conflict because of different points of views that are highly influenced by gender.
And I think that speaks to emotional intelligence, which is what you ladies were talking about earlier with regards to the way I didn't respond to the ladies' comment. Trust me, I understand what's being said. There's just certain things that I'm not going to do because I find certain acts repulsive.
But you're still loved. You know that, right?
Oh no, I don't know. I don't take
okay. Just
I don't take anything personal.
I'm just saying. I think the lack of conversation between men and women is what causes a lot of problems to begin with. People don't want to be truthful about women. Men don't want to be truthful about men. Men don't want to hear women's opinions about them, and women definitely don't want to hear men's opinions, about them. But I love this show because y'all irritate me. But I love this show because
that means we're doing something right, Rebecca. That means we're doing something right.
Y'all irritate me a lot because of some of the stuff y'all say, but at least you put it out there for a discussion to be had and people get to voice their opinion without, y'all trying to cut us off the screen or something like that. So,
I want to piggyback.
We irritate you, so I know we're doing something right. We're doing something right that we're irritating you.
Yes.
But
I would like to piggyback, if that's okay. Something that Rebecca said. I feel like conversation is a good thing. The problem is understanding. Because I can say something to you and I can think I'm totally clear. And okay, we done had this conversation, is settled, while you may walk away with questions. And so if nobody speaks about the questions to get an understanding, what good was the conversation?
Which is why we got to keep the conversation going. Absolutely.
And when I don't understand, I ask a million questions until I do understand. But then the guy gets irritated and like, I already gave you the answer the first time. Yeah, but I didn't understand the answer. That's why I'm asking you different questions in different ways until I understand the answer in my head of what you're saying.
Men know we have a million follow-up questions to the follow-up questions, so they should be prepared to sit down with a cup of coffee and relax and, let's have this conversation.
Honestly,
men don't talk to us.
I'm not doing that. That gets annoying after a while. No, I'm just saying.
I put that's the problem.
When you learn how to communicate effectively with somebody, is different.
But that becomes a problem then because you want her to hear you.
I'm laughing because
Can you pass it to the left, please? Can you pass it this way?
Girl, I need to take this drink
Pass it on now. Come on.
right now.
Soraya, happy holidays.
Drink, pass. Drink, pass.
Happy holidays, darling. How are you guys doing? I done heard
All right, how you doing?
dick
Hi.
germs. I done heard. I came in at that part, and I was like, okay, dick germs. Got it. That's the kind of night we have, and I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Like, not as bad as last week.
Man.
Not as
That
X-rated
thing
as
there.
last week.
And then I came in when I heard somebody else talking about those clarifying questions that Dave that gets on Dave's nerves so much.
No.
Clarifying questions. But here's what I will say. If I have to ask too many clarifying questions, I feel like you purposely trying to double talk a chick. And I don't have time for that. Because we are two adults. I'm speaking to people that are on my level. So if we're having a conversation and I have to ask you more than 2 clarifying questions, because of course, there's just some things, you know, that you may have to just say, okay, well, let me make sure I heard you right. But if every time I ask a clarifying question, something different is coming out, okay, bruh, you on some okie doke and you trying to put your dick germs on me and you don't want me to know. And so I got to go. So I don't, it ain't gonna be too much because you're trying to double talk a chick. It shouldn't be this hard for us to effectively communicate. We all grown, we all went to school, we all know the meaning of words, we all got a dictionary, a thesaurus, all of that. So Google, Wikipedia, anything. You were the simplest of searching. So for me,
I'm gonna say,
if I'm trying to speak to you, if I got too many clarifying questions, you either a woke mofo that need to go back to sleep, or I just need to leave the premises. So that's where I'm at. It shouldn't be this hard to communicate. It really just shouldn't be. We're not speaking foreign languages.
Listen, I got some relatives that's from other states, and when they speak to me, I be completely lost because your slang or whatever you want to call it, your lingo is completely different. I don't know what the hell they be talking about, so I have to ask like 22 times. What is this? What is that?
So you talking about a translation type of thing over her versus over here. That I can get the context of it. If I hear the root words, I might be able to get the context. But even that'll tire me out. Even that'll tire me out. Yeah, it'll tire me out, and I just won't want to talk to you anymore. Like I just won't. Write it down. Write it down and sing.
Conversation is good. I'm definitely one for talking. So I think conversation between the sexes is good.
Absolutely. You must have it. You must have it because other than that, there's chaos. There's chaos and misunderstandings that don't have to happen.
Because if you leave it up to my imagination to guess what you said,
right, that's the wrong thing. Because see, I'm always just going to assume that you're trying to give me your dick germs. That's what I'm assuming. I just have to know.
Right, dick germs, or it could be cootie.
But I just got to, because that's a safety issue. I got to assume that because I can't assume that everybody is cool and that nobody's gonna hurt me. That's the wrong assumption for a female. Now, I don't take it to the extreme, but like I said, that's a safety issue. So yeah, we have to have a conversation. And Wanda said that clarifying questions are for liars. Girl, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
Keep asking a man to explain something to you, he must be lying.
Well, if somebody says, like, if a man says, "Hey, do you got a whip?" in a text message, and I don't know, like, if he's being urban or Oxford, I'm gonna be like, what are you talking about? A whip? Like a whip that you want me to use in bed? Like, I actually understand that language barrier the other day, and I was totally confused. And he was talking about a car. I'm like, oh, that kind of whip. My mind wasn't at that kind of whip. I really
I'd have just said something like, so are we driving or are you trying to beat a bitch's ass? I'd have said something like that. Let's get straight to the point. Let's see. Some of y'all clarifying questions are confusing. Me, I'm straight to the point. I need to know, okay, it's either this or it's that one. And I need to know. We cannot rely on other people to even understand our question if we're hemming and hawing about the question. Me, I'm direct. So in that situation, if he'd have said, hey, I got my whip today. Are you driving or you beating bitches' asses? Which one did you get? What did you get? Because I'm not sure what you're talking about. That's very clear. He knows right then and there where my mind is at. So give me which one you talking about. We driving in the whip or am I cracking the whip? What we doing? My clarifying questions are very
I like her.
Very pointed. I need to give you a choice because you was either talking about A or B. Now, if you come up with a C, then okay, I really need to know what's going on with you. So
I wasn't thinking about approaching it as it may be a car because that was like the furthest thing from my mind, thinking about it could be a car. And I'm like, why would you ask me if I have what kind of whip? A crop riding whip?
That's a car.
Like,
that's a car.
Like you had sex on your mind. That's fine. We
wait a
understand
minute.
why
And
you
young dudes too. You don't know the lingo of the young dudes that you're dealing with. Don't you play with them
cooties.
Don't you play with me? Somebody you don't know the lingo of them young bucks that you playing with.
I don't play with them anymore.
Since when? 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago last. You were all up in.
Wait a minute. That was just an example.
Let me give y'all.
You ain't forget the language next week. You ain't forget the language. You just
use that language. But he did not use whip versus whip when I was trying to figure it out. Like, do you mean whipped cream to decorate my feet?
And
you mean whip like in the bed? Do you mean whip as in your car? I didn't really understand that whip meant car too, because it's been a long time since I heard that.
Hold up, Anita, because you was talking about the urban Oxford, the urban dictionary.
Yes, I was.
You better study this shit when we get off.
No.
You better study it.
That's what I'm talking about. See, I'm always learning. Sometimes it takes me about 6 or 7 times to learn my lesson, but I'm still always learning. After the 7th time,
your head 6 or 7 times. You gotta bump your head 6 or 7 times to learn the lesson.
Yeah. Sometimes,
girl, well, at least you know, boo. At least you know, and you just told all the listening audience too that you got that you bumping it 6 or 7 times.
I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one though. I'm just the only one who would admit it. No, you're not. It's a whole bunch of them out there that say no. No, you're not. You the only one that admit that you didn't know what a whip was.
No. Hold on. Let me interject. In her defense, this is how I write a riddle. Because as she said, a whip could be something that a dominatrix would use. It could be something that a jockey would use to spur a horse, or it could be a car. That's how I write riddles.
It absolutely can be. But just like David always says, you have to know your personnel. And if you dealing with young dudes that use slang, whip has always meant a car. When young dudes is talking about it, I was in my whip yesterday. Right. So if you know your personnel
that way,
I know you wasn't. You was thinking whipped cream. I know what you was thinking.
I was thinking whipped cream on my feet and whipping in the bed. That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Everything got to be
right.
What the fuck?
Just to make you guys laugh.
He wanted to know if she had some whipped cream. That's where
he didn't even say cream.
Now we get to the nitty of the gritty of the thing.
Automatically meant cream to her.
Exactly. We're getting to the nitty of the gritty of the thing now.
Hey, John, can you hear us, John? You've been there patiently, man. We just want to get you in.
Yeah, I'm here. I just didn't want to interrupt guys' conversation, but I definitely wanted to jump in earlier when y'all were talking stuff. I'll just wait until I feel it's appropriate to jump in, but
no, go ahead. You're fine.
I like the conversation. I wish there was more of this going on where, the two genders talk about issues. It doesn't happen enough. And that's all I gotta say right now. Like I am just listening. I don't really know where this conversation's going right now when it's talking.
We don't never know, man. We never
John,
know.
you will never know. You just got
Yeah,
to
true.
stick around to the end.
Yeah. So I'm listening right now.
Hey, John, where are you calling from?
I'm from San Antonio.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, I
okay.
love
Go
San
back.
That's all right.
Antonio.
I'm in Grand Prairie.
Well,
Yeah, I
hey,
want to
man,
get out
hey,
of this place.
we do this every Monday night, man, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's about 7 y'all time back.
It is 9:30, right? Oh yeah. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, so
Y'all an
7 your
hour
time.
ahead of us.
Hey, and you know, generally we usually go an hour, but when the conversation is flowing like this, we don't stop. And I don't have to go to work tonight, so I'm here for the long haul.
And it didn't help that I was a little late, John. So that's that.
But no, we tell people, in order for us, this is why my closing stanza is this: growth and understanding occurs in a gray area, and that has a dual meaning. Our brains are gray matter, and when the black and white clash and there is no clear understanding, that's the gray area. This is why I always say growth and understanding occurs in the gray area, because far too often as gingers, we would rather go and behave like it's Sadie Hawkins Day dance and stand on our sides of the room because that's where the gingers are. And there's never any melding and meeting of the mind, so these type of ideas can be brought out into the general conversation and spoken of. Because if you never speak about these things, regardless of what it is, you never move forward as a people. And I hate to bring up politics, but this is where we are with politics. We have so many people fighting about this. We have so many people fighting about this that we tend to lose focus on what we want as a country. So if we don't know what we want as a country and how we move forward as a country, we're too busy trying to say, well, you know what, my door, my walkway is clean. I don't care about my neighbors. If you don't care about your neighbors, then directly you don't care about yourself, because what's going on with your neighbor is going to eventually affect you. So this is why I always talk about coming here and being on this panel. People think that David and I are going to cut people off. And just like Scorpio said, we don't. We want people to speak. And whether or not somebody agrees with me or disagrees is immaterial as far as I'm concerned. I'm a big boy. I can take them shots. I'm a prize fighter. I'm one of 11 kids, and Rebecca will tell you, we rough and tumble.
Yes, baby.
That was one of the things, to be honest, that was one of the things that drew me to the show, because I watched it maybe, I don't know how many times before I finally said, hey, I think maybe I might have something to slightly add to it. But I like the fact that there are open door questions. I like the fact that you can always get another perspective, something you might not have thought about. I like the fact that there's room for growth, so on and so forth. So I think this show is definitely a much needed tool. And I would personally like to see a lot more of it.
Here, and we always tell people, if you have topics and things that you want to bring in, that you want to discuss, don't hesitate to inbox David or myself, or post it on his wall or post it on my wall. My profile is open to the public. You don't need to be on my friends list to see anything I post or any discussions. This is why I always tell people, understand that when you post on my wall, I'm not censoring anything. The only thing I do when I post something that's controversial is that you stick to the topic. You don't attack people. You don't attack their families or their reputations. That shit I will ban you for, and I will run you the hell off. I don't talk.
Okay, one thing I wanted to mention when I saw this conversation going on, it made me think about something I've thought about in the past, which is like how I feel like, the male gender, I feel like they're more analytical, or like they use their brains more when they think about things. They try to be real.
You see all the eyebrows raised.
Yeah, John, you about to get it.
You see all the eyebrows raising up right now.
Welcome to the counselor corner, John.
I hope you're using that brain right now when you're thinking, bruh.
Okay, let me finish. And then
Let him finish.
And I feel like for me, because when I first got in the relationship, I felt like, I was very
You're going in and out, sir.
right.
Everything.
Maybe he was referring to left brain versus right brain. Remember that conversation, Herb, that
See,
we
there you go,
had?
bumping your head. I heard what that brother said. He was real clear in what he said because he wrote it in a comment too. So
Oh, did he? I
we
can't see the
we gonna go
comment.
ahead and wait on him to finish that whole thing.
Oh,
I can't see the
So that we can
comment.
rip him to
We
shreds.
gonna go ahead and let
John,
him finish that
John, are you
whole
still
thing.
there? John, could you hear us? Okay, he got the hell out of Dodge.
Good for him.
Wrong
Wise
thing,
move.
bruh. He come on back, John. Don't no. Come on back, John. We come on back, baby. Come on, sweetie.
Wanda, yeah, I
No, but
agree with you.
Let's go on and let's wait a minute. Latoya, who has been doing nothing but giving possible answers to Herb's question, all of a sudden said, pause. Do you
and I do apologize. I can't see the answer, and I'm not sure why. I don't know. People are
John said, hold up, wait a minute, let him put some boom
Latoya
in it.
said,
That's what he
pause. Can anybody?
He said,
All right,
hold
John,
up.
you fit right in, bro. Come on.
Oh, John said,
Fit right
hold
in,
up.
John. Let's go.
Said, hold up, wait a minute, let him put some boom in it.
I hate to do this, but anybody that
Correct, Latoya.
hold on,
Did you see Latoya's comment?
hold on for a moment, David, because I can't see the chat and the potential answers. I'm going to post it in the back chat, which means that anybody that is on the panel is ineligible to answer. All right.
Yeah, it's a lot of answers that's coming through.
I can't see the chat and the potential answers. I'm going to post it in the back chat, which means that anybody that is on the panel
Who playing this
Well.
two thing?
Honey, we just gonna keep on going until that sweetie come back in here to finish that.
But you know what? You know what? That means we growing because John called all the way from San Antonio, whatever.
Yeah,
First
he
time
did.
he from YouTube, whatever. So that's a good thing. This is the first time
Yeah,
me screaming from both areas. So even though if it was only one person, that still is growth to me, whatever. So
I
who knows?
want to address what he said in terms of men being, or what him and Anita said in terms of men. Hold on.
Address it. John got to address it. John got to come back and finish that statement. He didn't finish the thought.
yeah, because I need to know why he thinks that way.
Yeah, John, we can't address it
Somebody
because
else
John
in
needs
here.
to finish that thought.
Okay, I made it back.
Okay, John.
How you doing,
Okay. Yeah, the internet just gave out on me right when I was trying to say something.
I'm on fire.
So I was trying to say when I first got in a relationship with a girl, I kind of realized that she was a lot more emotionally mature than I was, and I'm just speaking for myself, but I do feel like gender does play a role in this because I've seen it in other guys where I don't know, girls are better at dealing with relationships than, like they say, girls mature faster, than guys do, and I think that's true emotionally, like when it comes emotionally wise. But
trying so bad. He's trying so hard.
Yeah,
Let him finish.
I know.
One thing I realized is like guys, we like to, if there's a problem, we want to solve it, and from my own experience, whenever. Say it again.
Go ahead. I said being direct. We like to just get through it. Cutting through all the chase, we like to be direct and solve it.
Yeah, and like fighting too. Like if we'd rather fight somebody if we have a problem with them than like to be talking about them. And I from my experience at least, I know there's a lot of people who like to talk trash on the internet. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying guys are more willing to beat up each other if they feel angry about something, they're gonna go fight somebody. And what am I trying to say? I've noticed like whenever women or females have a problem with something, they like to talk about it a lot. And when I try to give solutions to the problems that they're having, they will kind of respond to me in the way of like, I don't need you to solve my problems. I just want you to listen to them. I just want you to listen to what I'm saying. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I could listen to what you're saying, but I just feel like you should try to solve the problem, you know, instead of just talking to me about unloading, kind of like people like to unload a lot. And guys, we don't really, from my own experience, I like to talk about things that make me think about things. When it comes to my emotions, I feel like guys are more reserved when it comes to expressing our emotions on. That's all I got to say right now. If anyone wants to respond,
I just
They-
want
they-
to
they-
know. I just want to
Hold
know,
on.
John.
You're John.
How old are you? How old is he?
How old are you,
I'm
sweetie?
28.
Okay.
Okay.
28.
Okay.
So here's what I'll say.
Yeah, I'm
we're all
halfway
a
to
little,
60, so I'm not that old.
we're all a little you know, we've taken it in, and so it went a little different than how you started, but here we go. So if you are talking about a relationship, your woman is going to want to vent to you. So if you don't want to hear her, that's going to create problems, because not every situation that she's going through is a cause for you to go and do your caveman thing and fight, because that's not the way that that's not the way to handle every situation, and I'm sure that you already know that. So if you're talking about now, if you're talking about your booty call, that bitch can go vent somewhere else. You got some best friends, you got all of that. But if you're talking about a relationship that you're trying to build with somebody, then it is your job to get your communication skills up, not for her to dumb hers down. So that's gonna work.
Anybody.
That's what's gonna help. One of the things that's gonna help you successfully navigate a relationship. Now, you also said that you feel like women are better equipped to handle relationships. Let me go ahead and correct that, babe. Nope, because that's why we got a lot of bitter bitches on internet that can't seem to figure it out. So that has to do with I'm just being real. So no, it has to do with a maturity thing. That's what it has to do with. Because there's people that are in relationships, two-man relationship, two-woman relationships. So we're not even talking about gender anymore. We're talking about a maturity level. We're talking about you need to be in the relationship that your maturity level can handle. If one's maturity level can only handle booty calls, then you only need to stick to booty calls. If your maturity level can handle friends with benefits, because that's a bit different than a booty call, and if you don't know the difference, I'll explain, then you need to stick with friends with benefits. But if you're trying to get into a committed relationship, then if your communication skills are not up to par, then you need to go ahead and let that go. That's an individual thing. Anybody that believes that all they got to do is just show up and solve the problem, how exactly do you solve the problem if you don't know the details of the problem? And if you don't want to listen to the details of the problem, how do you solve it?
Just the assumption
I agree with
that
everything
women
that
are
young lady
better
just said.
equipped to handle it will put you at a disadvantage to begin with. There is no rule that says, for one, women are not analytical and we can't solve our own problems. Don't ever think that. Number two, the assumption that a woman is more emotionally mature than someone else is also a fallacy. You're going to always end up behind the 8 ball when you go in with certain assumptions. There's a difference between having There's a difference between having standards versus assumptions. There's a difference.
Jump in for a moment. He's correct in what science has been saying about women maturing faster than men. So
cooler, we got it. The science said, got it. We cool, but we talking about the reality, because we all know that it's some dumb chicks on the internet. It's some dumb chicks everywhere. I personally believe that we're all dumb chicks until we learn how to be smart ones.
Okay.
When he was speaking about women maturing faster than men, you're speaking of a physical aspect. That's going to happen regardless. Everyone is going to be mature at the level
emotional.
Well, even emotionally, that's also an assumption. Your body matures but that doesn't mean that your emotional or mental
Just because
state
a chick
mature.
gets some big
I
hands
know
when
you
she
know.
turns 15 doesn't mean that she can think like a 20-year-old.
Exactly. I know you
Okay.
know people. You're 28. I know you know people that are
Yeah,
your
that's
age
not
and
what I'm
still act
saying.
like they're 12, men and women. So that's not a gender specific thing, in my opinion.
Well,
So
the
that,
thing is about the brain, whatever, um, as far as the development of the brain, it doesn't. We don't develop. The brain don't develop till you like in your 20 something, whatever. So most of the time, uh, that's why we have these irrational decisions that people make, whatever. So even though they may say, "Oh, you're grown at 18," which
Not
which
at
is the
all.
wrong thing. Yeah, which is the wrong thing to say to people, whatever, in the first place. When people like, oh, when you get 18, you're grown, because you know their brain is not developed at that point, so they're going to make a rational decision. So I think that's some old. I ain't gonna even say
But look,
urban
how about
legacy.
this, Dave? Most of the time we spend 17 years telling an 18-year-old that they don't know shit. And then when they turn 18, oh, well, you grown now. Get out there. You need to know. Like,
Yeah,
we spend 17 years telling them that they don't know shit from Shinola about being a grown-up. But then when they turn 18, magically, some parents, because I didn't do this, and I don't really understand parents that do, but, oh, when you 18, you grown. You can get up out my house. You can do this. No, they
At
just
all. That is so
this
sad.
part.
What can an
It's sad.
18-year-old do in
That's
this
a sad
world?
thing.
What can they do
Like,
in this world?
you should know what you want to do with your life. It's some 40-year-olds that still don't know what they want to do with their life. So somebody at 18 is supposed to know. Like, come on, we have to let go of some of these, like she said, fallacies. And I don't know your name, but you're so awesome because she said everything I was thinking. But we have to get away from those old assumptions. I don't care if he was talking about scientifically what's been said before. We're talking about the reality of a thing. Because, see, we could talk about fantasies too. And in a fantasy, Prince Charming always comes to save Cinderella. Okay? That's the fantasy. Prince Charming's always coming. And there's a lot of women that still look, it's a lot of women out here calling themselves queens that still looking for a prince.
Yeah, a lot of
So,
kings
I
and
mean, I was
queens.
talking about my.
that emotional
I
maturity
was
that you
okay. Sorry.
believe women have is a fallacy.
Hold on,
It's
hold
I
on.
was talking
Before we
individual.
about
go
from my
back,
own experience. I
And
wasn't talking about
which
science. I
is
was talking about from my own experience. And you agreed with me
exactly.
that women do like to unload, or what did you call it? You said
Then
You
something
like to
where
vent.
they like to share.
Sometimes we like to
Vent.
vent
Yeah,
or
there
we
you go.
like to
You did
share.
agree that women like to do that. And do
And
you
you're
agree
right.
that
And
the majority of males like to hold their own emotions like to themselves when they have a problem they want, or no, that's not
When
your
they
experience.
haven't matured emotionally, yes, I do agree. That's why we
and
said that that's
I don't
about a
think
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
maturity thing.
right. And I
That's a
don't think there's
maturity
a
thing.
listen,
You
woman
there's
have to
an
around
grow
that
out of
exchange.
that.
hasn't seen a man
There's an
hold
exchange.
his emotions, just like I don't think there's a man around that hasn't seen a woman who just wants to vent and then she wants to run off and solve her own problems. We're forever growing, we're forever changing. Like this young lady said, to just put a label on it and think that's it forever, that women are always, we always think emotionally and men always run in with muscles trying to fix something. If we stay thinking like that about each gender forever, then yes, nothing's going to change. But have we all seen it? Absolutely. But you do have to remember that we're forever evolving, ever learning, ever changing, ever growing. So he's 28, you know,
I want
unless
you to
he's
understand
just been
something.
out
and
there
I
getting
think
dick.
it also comes with experience too, because
Yeah,
unless you have experience to experience that emotional and mental growth, how are you going to know how to grow in different situations?
right. Trial and error.
This is why it upsets me
When you're
when
when
men
you're
get
in a
upset when
hold on.
women
relationship,
have
Let me
advice.
interject. Let me interject, ladies. We have the mind says. Are you still with us?
Yeah. Yes, I'm still here.
So that's you, John.
Yeah, this is me, John. Yeah, the mind says.
You're the okay. All right. I thought
He
it was
said,
somebody
yeah, this is
different.
me, John.
I thought it was
so
somebody different. All
Sorry.
right.
so let
Oh,
me
no problem.
I had to jump on another
let me
things, and it
Oh,
says something different
okay.
on my account now.
Okay. It's all good. All right.
But
so
no,
I
we
Carry
want
get
on.
that,
you
John. And from your experience right now, as what you've had, this is what you've experienced. And that's another really great thing about this show is that, you know, you don't know what you don't know. So please don't think that we're coming down on you.
Right.
I'm 40, I'm about to be 49. you know, and I don't know how comfortable the other ladies are with giving their age, and Herb and Dave, but you know, we've had a bit more experience in this than what you seem to have had. And so that's why we're telling you. So please don't look at it as any type of an attack. Is that we just don't want you to go forward carrying
Thinking
that, because see, you will carry that, what happened in that last relationship, into the next one, just like women can.
And
Men
I'm
do
gonna
it
say
too.
to you,
It's not highlighted
I
when
know,
men do it because most people don't recognize it, but
Yeah.
it happens. But it happens.
I have,
You will
I
carry the
have,
things from your last relationship into the next one. So
Sure do.
if there's one thing that I can impart, is just understand that those things are those things are a maturity thing. And like David says a lot, and I actually hate it when he says it, but it applies right here, is that you have to know who it is that you're dealing with, or at least what the precursors are of that age. Just like I had to tell Anita that when she was dealing with them dudes that like to play video games, that comes with those particular people, with that particular age group, that's what they're going to do. Doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just means that this is a part of that demographic. So if you have somebody that you see that's more emotional, maybe her experiences have led her to, you know, be that way. As she matures, it may change. As you mature more, that may change. You may understand, okay, I do need to take some time to listen to what it is that she's saying, so that I actually know what the problem is that I'm supposed to fix. How do you just run? Look, he got a video game. See, that's some old shit. What the hell?
so this
Not an
is something,
Atari flashback.
this
Who
is,
wanted to flash back to Atari?
wait,
And
this is something that I
a
wanted to
spirit.
address. Now, I have three sons. My sons are 29, 27, and 23. Okay. Three boys. And I have to say the same things to, well, I have had to say in the past the same things I say to you. If you're in a relationship, you do have to understand that there's an exchange of energy. Um, you should be the person that your wife, fiance, girlfriend goes to. You do not want her to be, quote
Right.
unquote, molded in another man's image. So you don't want another person downloading things into your woman, just like your woman won't want another woman downloading into you. There's exchange of power. To learn, you cannot say to somebody, hey, I have this. When you speak, you want her to listen and respond. You want her to care about your situation. You want her to add something valuable to that situation. That does not mean you want her to fix it. With that being said, it's the same way. There's an exchange of energy. If I say to my husband is my go-to, I'm not going to run out and go look for another man's opinion. I'm going to go to the one I trust. See, that exchange builds a trust. That exchange
Let's go, girl.
builds clarity
You know,
and
I'm
a
all
bunch
like,
of
preach
other
that
things.
sermon.
She better speak to
Well,
my
look, I
spirit.
got
Come
three
on,
sons.
girl.
Remember, I have three sons. They're 29, 27, and 23. And one out of those three like older women. That is his thing. And I have to say to him, you have to understand there's going to be a disparity in what you want versus what she wants.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
if this is what you're going to pursue, there are certain things you cannot bring to the table. You
yeah.
can't be a drama-filled man when you're dating an older woman. This
She
is the
will
things that
drop
I'm
kick
telling
you
you that
right
I'm
to the
saying to my
curb.
children. So you have to understand you're still
If
young, you're still
she
growing,
doesn't lose
and
you and drop kick you to the curb. Now, I'll say this, having dealt with an older woman. When I was 24, I dealt with somebody who was 36. So you have to also be cognizant of the fact that she will use you for sex and then discard you.
Dude,
And you
they want to be used for sex. Shut your face. A 24-year-old that's going after a 36-year-old wants to be used for sex. Stop it. Stop that victim shit. Stop it.
hold
That's what they
on.
well,
want.
it
I
comes
They
to
want
I
you to
would
use
have
that
basically.
joystick all they want. They want you to use that joystick for as many times as you can vertically jump up on top of that thing. They want to be
She said,
used
she
for
said
the sex.
joystick.
Okay, stop that. Because I'm gonna let
I
you
would
know something. Now,
have to say,
so look, what you say, John?
I think in regards to the whole venting thing, I don't mind, if um a girl I am talking to
A
wants to
joystick.
vent to me, or like my mom, she wants to tell me her problems. She gets off of work, or whatever. The only thing that I have issue with it, like I said already, is the fact that they don't want to hear solutions. And this is coming from, this only happens to me when I talk to the opposite sex, is they don't want to hear solutions to the problems that they're presenting to me. Even if I'm not saying like, oh, I'm gonna go beat them up or anything. I'm just literally like, hey, well, have you thought about doing this, or like, have you approached it like that? And it's more of, they would tell me like they don't want to solve the problem, they just want to vent.
They
And
want
And
someone to
that's
sometimes
why
listen
I,
to
that's just
them,
what
John.
that is. They
And
just
so,
want to be
listen,
heard.
here's the
I know,
thing.
and
Here's
but that's what I'm saying.
here's
That's the
what'll
difference
happen.
between guys and girls, is that guys will try to
That's not true,
analytically
though.
try to figure out how to
That's not
fix it.
true.
Well, at least in my case. Okay, go ahead.
John,
Sorry.
you're
You're a
trying to
Well,
fixer.
emphasize
listen,
it. Okay,
men,
He's a
you're gonna
men
do
fixer.
what
vent.
He's
you're
a
gonna do.
fixer, y'all. He's a fixer.
Men
He's a
vent.
fixer, but
Men
here's the
vent.
thing: unless for him to be a fixer, he needs to be with a chick that's a damsel in distress. Not all chicks want to do that. Sometimes they do, as we've stated, they just want you to listen. And so if you can't just listen, then here's what's going to happen. She's going to go start talking to somebody else that can just listen. So there's going to be a consequence for the things that you don't feel like doing, just like there will be a consequence for her for the things that you don't feel like doing. So all we can do is let you know that
Yeah, she was my side
sometimes the
chick.
woman that you
She,
love and that you love is going to want to listen.
Hold up,
So
If
it
she's
just
a
makes more
side
sense.
chick, why are you even having those conversations, John? Why is
I
that
mean, because
conversation?
she wanted to talk to me. Hey, she wanted to talk to me. I
John,
was just listening, and after a
John,
while, I was
you're
like, "Yo,
As
yeah."
the
not
man,
doing it right, John.
listen, this
You
is
trying
where,
to do
as the
Miss Look, I
man,
got instructions
you,
for that too. You're not doing it right, John.
no. This is where, as the man, and she's being your side chick, this is where you remind her to stay in her lane. That's not what your job is.
You got a
So
best friend somewhere.
if you open that door, I'm just telling you, if you
John.
open that
Stay in
door,
your
that
lane.
exponentially changes whatever you have going on. Don't open that door.
John, you know this is live so your main chick, whatever, might get access to this. You know, you just told
I
him.
Okay,
think
well,
John
yeah.
was trying to throw a
No,
monkey in there
this
for
was a
us.
while
We just
back.
had answers.
Oh.
We just had
Did she
answers.
say tell the
Look, we
side chick
just
to
had
stay in
answers
her
about
lane?
it, and he just saved it with that was a while back. Okay, a while back. Look, you need to
I was
establish
done after
rules
she
for your
said to
main
tell the
chick, your
side
side
chick to
chick, your
stay in her
booty call, and
lane.
your friends with benefits. Okay, you need to have some established rules of communication for all four of those classifications of people. That's just it. Your side chick shouldn't even want to come to you about nothing because you just a side dude. Unless if you running up on a chick that's okay being your side chick and you the only person that she's seeing, she doesn't
You're
see
her
herself as your
boyfriend.
side chick, and she's gonna be acting like your main chick. So
No, she
that's how
might be the
that goes.
side chick, but he's her boyfriend. If she ain't got
Exactly.
she
That's
might
what I
be
said.
the side
If
chick
she's
with husband.
single and you're the only person she's dealing with, she's
That's
not
the
looking
problem.
at it as a side chick. She's looking at it as you are her man. And so that's why that is.
No,
So
she
yeah,
knows she
again,
the side chick.
establish the rules of communication for your main chick, your side chick, your booty calls, and your friends with benefits. You need to, and I say it because we all know that they exist. It's no reason to act like these people don't exist in life because they do. It's some that's okay with being your side chick. It's some that's okay with being your booty call, and it's some that's okay with being your fuck butt.
But if
You know,
Listen,
so
hey, lady, let me interject.
she's the side chick, she knows she's the side chick. Now she might not consider
not all the time.
come on now.
Not all the time.
Nobody that dumb that they don't know they decide.
Not all the time.
You know,
because
you
listen,
chick.
are
You
we
might be
gonna
holding
pretend
with
right now that
friend
guys
to
come?
be the
Are we
main
pretending
chick,
right
but
now that
you know
guys
that's
come
in
up to
second
you and
place.
say, "I want you to be my side chick"?
No.
Are we pretending that that's the communication?
That's the
That they
talking
come and
point
say,
for me,
"Hey,
too.
look,
That's
I
the
just want
talking
you
Your
to
point for
say."
ass
me,
is
too.
number two. Stop. You can't be fronting on that one. You know you the side chick. Now you might consider him your boyfriend because you ain't got another man. But you know you number
Are we
two.
saying,
You know
because
your ass is number
if we're
two.
saying that every side chick knows that she's a side chick, what are we basing that off of? Because we're not basing that off of him. No dude is coming up to her saying, hey, look, I just need a side chick right now. So, hey, you want the job? No dude is saying that to a chick.
I don't think he's
He's
gonna verbalize
lying to her
like
about
that.
whether he has a girlfriend. He's lying to her about all of that.
You know, you can't post no pictures on Facebook. You know you the side chick. And if you don't,
wait a minute.
You just
wait.
That's what I'm saying. No.
Wait a minute.
Hey,
I'm gonna say this.
How many clues do you need that you the side chick?
Yo,
I'm
what
gonna say
happened?
this. I do know of a few situations in which women really did not know they were side chick because they were able to do everything fully that they did in a relationship. Pictures, vacations,
they going on trips, all of that.
types of things. So
Well, yeah, there's always exceptions.
All the rest of that stuff.
John said there's exceptions to the rule.
Always.
Well, you know, John,
thanks, Captain Obvious. That's a given. Yes, we know. There's always exceptions.
Well, that's what I'm saying to what you're talking about. You're talking about these specific things. Okay, sorry.
What we're just saying is not every chick knows. And for me, when a person has the mentality that every chick knows, this is what makes it easy for a person to blame the other chick instead of blaming their man about what's going on.
I know.
Because
I know it's a fact.
The fact that their man is out here lying about them. They don't want to accept the fact that I knew a dude told me that his wife was dying of cancer. And I told him, come back to me when she dead. Because they will use everything. They'll use anything to put them dick germs on you, honey. And so, yes, absolutely. I agree that there are some chicks who absolutely know that they are, but we have to understand that there are some that do not because they're being deceived by what someone is saying to them.
Okay.
Now, when they find it out,
I'm not denying that. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
When they find it out,
I don't think anyone's denying.
John, you're in a unique position.
I just want to say real quick.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say you're in a unique position because
I was going to say I just wanted to. Dang it. Okay, I'm sorry. Speak.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John. The mic is yours.
Okay, I'm going to try this one more time, and then anybody can say whatever they want. Just for the record, I know it's a fact that females, they're able to physically have more sexual relations literally in one day or like in 1 hour. They can have sex with more people than a guy can. Like it's physically impossible for a guy to have as much sex as a girl can. And with that just being said, from my own experience, well, yeah, Viagra is a thing, of course, but I'm saying that literally it's females have a higher sex drive, and physically they're able to have a lot more sex than guys are. And that's just from what I've experienced. Like, I wanted to be in one relationship, but most of the relationships I've been in, and I guess it's probably me doing it because I attract people who are like me or whatever, they want to be with everyone else. You know, they want to have more than one sexual partner. And I'd rather be with one person, but I do also have that kind of want to be with other people. You know, once I have a person, it makes me want to find somebody else. But that's all I'm saying. Girls can have more sex, and they have a higher sex drive.
You said, I guess that I attract girls that are like me. But when I want to be with one person, I attract people that want to be with several people. But I kind of do want to be with other people. John, you got to get clear on what it is that you want, because you attract what you are.
I mean, I don't want to have sex with other people.
Then have sex with
I don't like the fact that when I'm in a relationship, my girls don't want me to talk to anybody else, and I'm just like, yo, I'm not having sex with them. I want to be able to interact with people.
Do you establish that up front?
I mean, I'm 28 years old, you know, and I already said it. I literally haven't been in too many relationships no, I haven't established that up front when I talk to a girl.
Something you should
this is hard, dude.
It's not hard. If you can tell a girl that you want to fuck her, you should be able to talk to her about what the rules are of everything else. If you can tell her how far down her throat you would like your dick to go, then you should not have a problem talking to her about the rules. You can't do that. Come on. Like, no. If it's easy to establish things in the beginning, that way you don't have
relationships
later. You don't have these problems later if you just learn how to
that
talk.
happens, like
That's not somebody else. That's up to you.
Listen,
I've noticed in
relationships.
Ma'am.
Listen, let me interject. Let me interject.
Go ahead, John.
Let me interject. So I was sitting here processing, Soraya, when you were saying all the different categories that happens at like side chick, friends with benefits. Back in our days, it was one or the other. It was you had your main person, and you might have had somebody else. But now it's all these different categories. So,
It's four of them.
it's no.
Well, can somebody explain to me the four?
Anita.
No worry. I will explain it.
Let me
After you finish.
Let me finish my thought.
Who else?
So there's really no blueprint for John to be successful because this is a new thing with all these.
No. John is 28. John is not coming from your era when it was only 2. John is not coming from your era. John is coming from I want to screw other people and I don't like it when they tell me I can't when I'm in a relationship. What you mean? He don't got a blueprint. I'm giving it to him. Listen, if you don't want to listen, don't listen. But I'm trying to save you some trouble. I'm trying to get you some more pussy, John. And I'm trying to get it to you where they not going to take your head off. I'm trying to get where they won't take your head off about it. But hey, do it how you do it. My policy is to be honest. I'm a polyamorous woman and everybody knows that. So I actively have different partners, but I'm honest and upfront in the beginning about what it is. And so if somebody doesn't like it, I'm not afraid of a mofo walking out the door. And that's what you got to stop being afraid of. That's why people lie to get people to go along with them, because I want you and it doesn't matter what you want. I want you. So I'm going to lie to get you. Just tell the truth. And if that person walks out, then you're on to the next one. But most people don't want to do that. They would rather hijack your emotions by lying to you and making you think it's one way when it's really another, instead of just accepting and giving a person a choice to deal with your particular brand of whatever.
Bullshit,
you know what I'm saying? So if you're just upfront and honest from the beginning, she may say no, but at least you know, okay, go to the next one, because there's too many people out here that's willing to do it. It's too many. The problem is you sums it up in a nutshell right there.
Here's
the problem
something
is
that's been lost
you want at that moment and you're willing to lie to get it. And then you complain later that the lies done came back and bit you. You complain later that you really didn't want to hear nothing this bitch had to say, but all you want to do is vent. Well, here's
something that's been lost in translation about John. What y'all didn't hear is he basically likes the chase. Once he has captured whoever it is, he is no longer interested. So when you understand that about yourself, you can deal differently with people. He likes the chase. It doesn't matter who the prize is. He likes the chase.
And it's a whole lot of women that just like to be caught and let go. It's a whole bunch of women that just like to be caught and let go. He just got to find
there
them.
is absolutely no reason to lie about your situation, because like she said, it's so many men and women out there that's down for what you want. Go find them and leave the rest of us the hell alone so that we can go find what we want.
You know, John, I will say this. Give me one moment. Let me interject. John,
get the hell out the way. Just get
John,
the hell out the way.
I'm listening.
You're on YouTube. There's a gentleman named Alan Roger Currie, Currie. What I would suggest that you do is just go listen to his podcast on being direct, up forward, and straight with women. That will get you into the position. That will get
What I
you.
do like about John being here is that he represents the 20-year-olds.
Yes,
I'm glad he's here.
yes.
I'm glad he's speaking.
Very.
I'm
That's why
glad
I'm
he's
trying to help him.
presenting
My
the
son had
things
just
he has
turned
to say.
29. And so I give this advice to my son. My son
Yeah.
calls me for advice in his relationships because I'm going to give him the woman perspective and I'm going to give him the man perspective
real
as best
one.
I can. The only thing, what I tell my son
You'll give
is
them both
that,
perspectives. That's how you
right,
go.
what I tell
Sir.
my son is that he needs
But
to
ain't that what you
appreciate,
want?
though he needs to appreciate the woman's perspective and feelings that he's with, that her feelings are not the only ones that count in the relationship.
Yeah.
That both feelings count in the relationship. And so you have to start off with honesty. You can't have her opening up or you opening up and she's a liar, or if she's opening up and you're a liar. Your communication is never going to work. So you have to get with somebody who wants what you want. And it's too many people out here that will willingly, like I said, some you like
Ride
to
that
chase.
gravy train.
Once you catch them, you done. It's a whole bunch of chicks that just like to be caught and let go. Catch me, do me, let me go about my business. But what happened, so that's just it. Be truthful. I appreciate her giving you the podcast about a dude telling you how to be truthful, but damn, you need to listen to a podcast just to tell the chick the truth.
No. Hold on. Seriously. It's a step process. The first thing he has to do is
Tell
he
the
has
truth.
no, hold on. It has nothing to do with truth. He has to learn who he is.
He know who he
I agree with
is.
that. But he knows who he. I believe that John knows who he is.
Yeah, hold
I
on.
I
believe
think
that
he
John
has a
knows
lot
who
of
he is.
growing to
Y'all let me
do
finish.
to
He
figure out
do,
what
but
it
he
is
know
that
who
you
he
want.
is right now. He know the
No,
type of man
no.
he is right now, which is why he keeps finding the wrong women because he's lying. If he would just tell the truth, he could be who he is right
Hold on.
now
Let
and
me
find
let me
somebody
tell
to
this
ride
story.
that gravy train.
Let me tell this story. And I've told this before. I was 30 and I had a situation with a female that lied and said she was pregnant. And it wasn't until I hold on. It wasn't until I got to the it wasn't until I got to the point of dealing with the same nonsense over and over that I had to recoil from dating. And I told this story before. It was 6.5 years before I actually dated or did anything with a female because I had to understand who I was. I understood what I was doing, but not why. And that's where he is. So no matter what we tell him, he still has to go through the storms of understanding why he's doing certain things. And it's not until he understands himself that he's going to be able to put this all together and take the information we're telling him and then move forward. That's why I was recommending that he goes and listens to Alan Roger Curry, because I can give you, it's the old adage, I can take a horse to water, but I can't make that horse drink. He has to do
My
it.
adage is, it's not even my job to make him drink. It's just my job to show him where it's at.
Yes, but he
He
has
don't
to,
take that on it. But I do understand what you're saying, Herb. And that's why I said I appreciate that. And now that you explained it, I really do. So now my question is to John. John, do you feel like you already know who you are, or do you feel like you need, to research that a bit?
Yeah, I think I have a good, understanding of who I am. I feel like as a young man, the main problem is just being self-sustainable. I don't really want to get in a relationship with any female and without having the ability to provide for them. And
You don't
and
have
that's kind of the main issue right now. Like,
It's real
yeah.
simple. Then
Yeah.
don't. That's simple. Don't. It doesn't matter if she wants a relationship. If she wants a relationship and you don't, that means that the two of you are not going to be able to deal. That means that there's going to be problems if you still just decide that just so
the
that
main
I can
problem,
show her, I'm
the main
tell
problem
her.
here that I'm having, that I feel like I'm having, I'm sorry for the, I feel like the
No,
main problem I'm having here is the fact that I want to, I can, and I have the ability to have a lot of stuff and be in a real good position. But the problem I have whenever I get things is it attracts people. Things attract people, and I want to find the right girl that wants me for me and not for what I have. and at the same time, I want to be able to provide for him. So it's kind of like
Okay.
it's
Let me
kind of
ask you
Okay. No.
this,
No.
John.
No. No.
Do you
No. No.
flatter
Hold
people?
on. No, let me interject. So, John, what is it that you have that attracts these people to keep coming towards you?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, is it the
things. You
candy
mean
stick
just
or
like
money?
Yeah, you said you have things
land?
that land.
I would just
Okay.
say
So you got
I just
property.
have yeah land. I could work. I have these good ideas, and that's kind of it. It comes down to me just having not have to worry about living like
So
when it comes
you're fine.
to like
Stop
paying for
rolling
rent.
your eyes.
So are you
Yeah, I'm
financially
financially.
set?
I'm
Uh,
Yeah,
sorry. I don't
I
have no
think that's
I
poker
would say
face.
yeah. I'm
I
financially.
didn't mean
I
to.
got money from my family money,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I don't want to depend on them. My whole life for to just live on
So you just want to
family
test the
land. I want to
waters.
be able to.
So you out here,
So,
you
and
want to
then
test the waters without them knowing what you got.
here's what comes into play with that. Okay, being able to evaluate people.
right.
You're not, I don't think that you're taking the time. See, it takes time to learn who a person is, and you
Yeah.
have to see them somewhere other than the bedroom. You know who they are in the bedroom, but you don't know who they are as a person. So when you don't take the time to learn who someone is, my husband always says pressure bust pipes. So if you don't see somebody under pressure, you don't know how they deal with things. You don't know, where their mindset is, so on and so forth. You don't even know if they have the capability of earning their own money in a non-traditional way. So when you don't take the time to learn people, you cannot properly evaluate them. You may be thinking, okay, she sees that I have this, and this. I'll give you a good example. I was having a conversation with someone and they were saying, well, she has to be able to do this, and this. Because I was saying that a man's money situation doesn't matter to me. And so he said, if I was looking to be in a relationship, I wouldn't pick you because no, he said, if I was looking to build a business, I wouldn't pick you because you don't have anything. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, you be playing catch up because I already own 2 businesses and I have 3 college degrees. So play catch up. So the way that you evaluate people will bring a certain type of people. You have to look within yourself and you have to know what you want, one, and it has to be something more than just physical. Do you want someone you can have an intellectual conversation with? Do you want someone who you can build on your dreams as well as hers? Is there a door or a window for us to meld them together? So on and so forth. It cannot just be about what you have, what they bring to the table. Because at some point, no matter what you have or bring, it's going to go under a strain. So if you're not built to last, if she's not built to last, no matter what you have, it's not going to work. She can be filthy rich, but if she is nothing but a shell of a person, if the only thing she cares about is looking cute, you have nothing because you can't build on that. The only thing you can do is make sure she get all the plastic surgery she wants and she's happy. So you have to learn to evaluate what you want in life. And I'm saying this not just to you from as a man standpoint, this is a person standpoint. As a person, you have to know what you want. And you have to also know that it can't just be about potential. Is this person able to produce? Are they, when things get hard, what is their response? Do they run away or do they look for the solution? So on and so forth. Now, that's all I wanted to say.
I just want to know, how long have you been married?
Who, me?
Yes, ma'am.
I've been 2 years now.
Wow.
How long was y'all together before you got married?
We've been together for 3 years, 3.5 years.
Okay. How old
But
are you, if you don't mind saying?
I am 48 years old.
And I love you. I love you because you say it
Seriously.
so much. You say it so much nicer than I do. Because my question for John is: Are you flashing the things that you have to women?
He has to. He has to for them to know that.
Yep.
No.
What you
I'm
hesitated,
not
John? Listen, this
flashing
we can do
anything.
real talk right here. You don't
No,
have
I
to
was
be
it was
nervous
on
about
mute.
it. No,
Is it coming
okay.
up
I was
in
trying to take myself
conversation?
off of mute.
So how do the women know what
No, I
you
don't flash
have?
things. That's what I'm saying.
How do they know what you have?
Um, if they come
covering the
over, I mean,
conversation.
I don't know how I'm supposed to hide my the stuff I have. If I want them to come over to where I'm staying at, I can't just
Well,
cover
John,
everything up under a
I'm
big
sorry,
blanket.
he's coming to my house and I
maybe,
don't
hold
give
on.
him what I
Let me
own.
say this.
So
Let me say this from a man's perspective. Maybe, John, you shouldn't bring them over to your gate. Maybe you
Absolutely
need to go somewhere else.
right.
Maybe you need to go
that's
somewhere
a
else where they won't
solution.
know. A hotel,
John,
And
something.
here's the
Yeah.
assumption.
John already
Here's
said
the
that he
assumption
doesn't want
with
a
that. Here's
relationship
the
right now.
assumption.
So then he comes
No,
back and
here's
says
the
that he
assumption.
wants a relationship with somebody he could deal with. You got to know what you want.
Let me hop in here for
Here's
hot.
the assumption with that. Why? The assumption is this is an assumption. You're inviting them over to see what their response is going to be to what you have. The reason I say that is because it's really, really simple and easy. You first of all, you only invite people over that you're truly interested in. Why not go to her place? Why not go out? If you're inviting someone over, you basically looking for a booty call without that being said. Because if you was not, it
I
wouldn't
mean,
be an issue with you going
I'm
somewhere
involved
else.
in tribal. I'm involved in, or I used to be involved in tribal in like a tribe, and we would come over, like both genders, male and female, we would both go over to each other's houses. It wasn't necessarily at all for anything sexual. It would be for just to do a drumming, do some dancing. Uh, and yeah, I when I'm thinking about the girls that I did bring over, like this one Indian girl, I didn't go bring her over to have any kind of anything like that. Literally, I could feel the sexual tension, and I was like, this is weird, and I don't like it. I hate the fact that me being in front of a girl and we're like the similar age, one of the first things that kind of is on our mind is sexual things, and I that's something that
So what
kind
did
of
you want to be on your
I
minds, John?
Well, hold on,
No,
Surya.
well literally my
Hold on, Surya. Let me get it out. Go ahead, John.
what literally her dad had a meeting with my mother, and they were on the property, and we were just talking, watching a movie. It didn't I had no like direct, what's it called, involvement in her even coming over. Yeah, that's it. But I do know her. I've seen her a lot in tribes, and we've talked, and I personally don't feel like she was trying to even get at me or trying to talk to me. She was more interested in my brother. But I feel like it still applies to the situation where I'm saying that people or females like to come, and not all the time, people in general, they like to come and they are attracted to people that have stuff, and that's it. I
John,
know it's not
Nobody
always
said
true.
that.
There's a lot of
Nobody
girls
wants
who are with homeless
John,
people.
let me ask you this question. You said you belong to a tribe, and obviously it's Native American. Do you hold a position of influence in your tribe?
I would say on a spiritual level, yeah, but if you're talking about like, what is it called? Yeah,
and
politically, no, I don't have a position in the tribe.
All right. Well,
I'm just like a regular
let me
person.
what I do in terms of selecting females. I have a set standard that I adhere to across the board. I don't care who it is, what ethnicity or anything. If a woman doesn't have at least what I have, and what I mean by this, if she's not working and earning at least the same amount of money that I do, has her own place, whether she rents or owns, she can't deal with me because we're not equally yoked. So what you have to start setting up is things that are going to weed out women, regardless of what you want them for, before they even come to your door. Because if a woman comes to your door and she has what you has, she's going to say, okay, this is the guy on my level. And that's what Scorpion was talking about earlier. You have to deal with somebody that's on your level, not only mentally, financially, but spiritually, because if not, you become imbalanced. And that individual is going to look to take from you. Somebody said it about it being a transference of energy, and that is absolutely correct. I refuse to deal with somebody that's going to be an energy vampire, because if you can't put into me what you're taking out, you are depleting me. And eventually, they're going to deplete you to the point where you are no longer yourself. That's something that you have to understand intrinsically about yourself. And this is what I was saying. you have to learn yourself. And it's not until a man starts to get into his late 20s and early 30s that he actually starts making his way and start figuring out what he wants from a woman. So whether he wants sex or a friends with benefit relationship where he has a wife and he just wants something on the side, those are the things that you have to determine for yourself. You can't let anyone else determine that for you, because nobody else knows where you are on your path, whether it's spiritual, financial, physical, or emotional. So those are the things you have to get right within yourself. And that's what I was referencing when I said I had the situation where I was dealing with the false pregnancy claims. I had to recoil from the world and get right within self before I stepped foot back into the world. And once I did that, a lot of things just fell off. Like, I don't even deal with any of the nonsense that I did when I was on the younger side of 30. So that's where you are. That's where you are now, and that's not a bad thing. It's a maturation is a process. The people that you're looking to here, we're all in our 44 and older. We've all had our own stories. We've all had our own struggles. That's what makes us who we are right now, because we've learned, and what we're trying to do to you is give you some of that wisdom so you don't have to make the same mistakes that we made. But in order for you to do that, you have to figure out who it is and what you want. It'll start there. Once you build that foundation, you have that foundation, you can build on top of that.
And this is what I want to add.
Like my baby that need to bump his head 6 or 7 times before he get the lesson. You know, because I feel like you have to take people where they are. And John has said several times exactly what he wants. He said he doesn't want to be in a relationship. All the other things could have went to the wayside for me, because if he's saying that he doesn't want a relationship, he wants to be able to enjoy the chase, well, then just do that. All this other stuff for me is moot. You have to take people where they are, and where he is right now, as according to what he said. I'm not assuming, I'm listening to what he said, and he said it several times in the in-betweens of everything else, is that he does not want to be in a relationship with one person. He said that he attracts people that are like him, that doesn't want to be in a relationship with one person. He just gets mad when they get into a relationship and they don't want the one person to be him. So John knows for right now, because even though what Herb said was 100% true, we're all still learning. We're all still growing. I don't feel like because I'm about to be 49 that I know everything about everything, but I do know everything about everything that I know about. And I know that you need to stop lying to people. And you need to just and you need to let the chips fall where they may.
What do you want right now?
That's what he wants right now. He doesn't want a relationship right now. So stop getting into relationships.
And stop lying.
If you don't want a relationship, it don't matter what you got. It don't matter that somebody likes you for what you have, because here's the thing. Everybody wants the best. There's nobody that's wanting, you know, somebody that's not going to bring something to the table. So you're going to keep yourself locked in that. If you're like, well, people just want what I have. First of all, they don't. But people are looking for people that can add to them. Of course, there are users out there. There are all types of people, but that comes with your discernment. You have to know how to see that. But right now, all you got to do is do what you said you was going to just date. Just go knock them down. Go get you some.
The issue is one of the women John liked, he fell in love with.
So what?
No, I'm just saying.
I know what the issue. I knew that. I was just waiting for one of the dudes to say it, because if I would have said it, then it would have been a whole thing of female. I already knew. I already proved that, and that's why I said you have to. People want what they want when they want it, and instead of telling that person the truth, he was willing to lie to her to hijack her emotions. But then, just like my other baby said, he likes to chase. Once he got her, and did what he did, and he done convinced her that he wanted what she wanted, so that he could be successful in the chase. Now he don't want it no more, and now she going ziggity boo, and now he's got a complaint. Well, you did that because you couldn't accept no for an answer, or the fear of no, because you didn't even give her a chance. You didn't even tell her what you was really about to see if she was like, oh, really? Okay, because that could have been the answer. But
yeah,
no,
but one of them chicks peeped his game and fucked his head up.
exactly. The one that he said he got mad about when she wanted to be with other people. The women done peeped that I was waiting on either Dave or Herb to say it so that we could. But I already knew that's what it was. Because you can't tell me that you a dude to just want to go out and date, but you mad that when you get a woman, she want to do the same thing you want to do, huh?
So hold on. So John, are we speaking the truth?
What in regards to what? What do you? Oh yeah, what they're saying. I mean, yeah, I don't care if you want to be with somebody else. Then I'll be like, fine, go for it. You know, you don't want to be with me no more.
No.
Okay.
Which part? Which part are you talking about?
One of them women that you had feelings for, you had deep feelings for. Is that
This would
true
be
or
an
not?
example of
Yeah.
many clarifying questions.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
So is that what led you on the path to try to figure out how? So do you still want her?
Nope.
I mean, no, she already has, you know, somebody else. So I don't want her anymore. It was a long time ago, you know, I really cared about her. I still care about her, but I wouldn't, if she wanted to be with me again, I would do it, you know, but I don't want her, you know, like I'm not trying to get after her.
I don't want her.
Wasn't our point.
This would be an example of a whole bunch of clarifying questions that we got to ask to get to where somebody's trying to go. John already said that he don't want a relationship. He just wants to date. Baby, I'm trying to tell you how to do it.
Becky's right.
Unfortunately,
No, if she wanted to come around,
just like him, that likes to play around, so he can't keep her for himself. That's what's fucking him up. So now everybody just wants him for his money and his land, which is not the case. But when you can't have what you want, you're going to go out there and deal with what you got to deal with. And that's the problem. But, you know, you'll bounce back.
How did we come up with this shit?
Don't worry about it. You'll bounce back.
Just rise from the dead right now because she just killed me.
So the point, maybe, Don, the takeaway from this is that you need to let the woman know if what your intent is, so she can make the decision whether she wants to deal with that situation or not.
Stop lying.
I mean, I don't come to women. I don't come to women. They come to me. Just for the record, I don't go to women.
It wasn't
John. Wish you much fucking luck.
According to you,
John. That's his name, John.
See, I try to put it in a more appropriate way for John, but he's still not perceiving what we're saying.
No.
Perceiving what we're saying. John already knows what John wants, and this is the keep the shit going. And this is one too many clarifying questions.
Let me get in. John.
There is no need for that because there is a deliberate pattern that John is following.
Exactly. That's why I said we can move on. Good luck, John. Like
the pattern is evident. So that is
until he got hit and he got quit. Now there is a different ball game. Yeah.
We're good. We going around and telling we saying the same thing a million times over. And so if that would be an example that I talked about earlier of when there has to be too many clarifying questions, because every time we ask a question, a different version comes out. That's the example.
What are you talking about?
When I'm done. When it's
literally
baby. Don't even worry.
Get what you need, boo.
Literally, the problem.
Get what you need.
No, the problem is that I try to advocate for abstinence, and then the girls are like, "Okay, you're not gonna fuck me, okay, I'm out of here, bye." For real, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Now, John, stop. Now, I was trying to be on your side, John, but stop.
Oh my God,
dude, I'm being honest here.
No,
I'm being honest.
You're doing us just like you do them girls that you meeting, John. No, you're not. You double talking, John. You're not. You're doing us just like them girls that you're meeting. You're not telling the truth. You're double talking. No. Come on now. Come on.
Woo, do we need to call the police?
Okay.
Are you being
we need to go on to the next topic. That's what we need to do. Because no, I didn't call it. You ain't gonna keep on sticking your banana up my tailpipe. Screw that. Let's go on to the next thing. No. Too many different answers.
And Listen, in all reality, this is a perfect example of what's happening with our young people. We wonder why they're misled. We wonder why they have certain values. We wonder why we don't understand why they don't understand, so on and so forth. This is a perfect example of that. This is a reflection of their particular age category. This is what happened. And because it's been so accepted, there's been nobody there to say, listen, except for one of the guys said it. Listen, now you on some bull crap with that. You can tell that to everybody else. One of the things that I try to live by is to thine own self be true. Yep. Maybe I can lie to you and I can lie to the next man, but I'm not going to lie to me and God.
And it's a whole lot of people lying to themselves. You can't lie to God because he see everything.
That part. So this is a reflection of what's happening, and that double speak and those deliberate offshoot answers and the pattern. This is what's drawn and attracting. And until that changes, this is going to be his life. He's going to grow up at one day. He's going to be 35, 36, 37 years old. And that's when he's going to come into his own, because by then he has done enough and got tired enough and is not ready to be the man that he wants to be. Until that time, we just, wasting a lot of air. I'm glad he's speaking.
Right. That's why I was done, baby. Too many clarifying questions. That's the exact thing I was talking about earlier. When I got to ask too many, and every time I ask a question, it's a different thing. You double talking. You just trying to give us your dick germs. Now he talking about he advocate for abstinence. Get out of here. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
You ain't gonna live that one down.
No, because that's the one I came in on. I couldn't believe, and I couldn't believe it was Anita that said it. I said, that shit.
New hashtag.
That is a hashtag, girl. You better hashtag it. Keep your dick terms to yourself. No.
You weren't here last week, were you?
I know I wasn't. I know that I wasn't.
I missed you.
Together. I had to get myself together sometime. And Dave reached out to me, and I told him that, I was going through some stuff, but I feel like, because I'm gonna be honest, Dave was like, you would have been coming for Herb. I said, listen, sometimes Herb needs to be able to get his shit off. Okay. Herb needs to be able to just say what he wants to say. I respect these two men more than a lot of people may realize. And so I understand that it's important for everybody. It's not always about, I'm going to go and me and Herb going to go ahead. No, because I'm going to be honest. Even though I don't always like it, sometimes I have to agree with that mofo. And I hate it. You understand? And I have to tell people that I hate it when it happens, because he could be so fucking crass when he says things. Then I have to understand that so can I. And so I got to be able to take. I can't give it out if I can't take it. So, but no, sometimes, Herb just needs to be able, he deserves to be able to just, have his stuff out. And then I come back, and then what I also told Dave was, I doubt there's going to be no shortages of things that me and Herb are going to be able to go head to head about. Not ever.
So if you look in the comments, if you look in the comments, John is actually speaking in the comments. He said, what double talk? I said I like to chase, and when I get a girl I like, I want to move on to the next one. That is a problem I have. But on the other hand, I do want to be with one person. Then he also said, of the day, I want to be with someone I can live with, someone I can trust.
But which one is it?
Just say okay. Just say okay. Just say okay. I'm trying to warn you. Just say okay.
No. But this is the thing. This is where he is, and this is why
we got to deal with him where he's at. That's where he's at. Even in this response, even in what you just read was double talk. That he doesn't understand is double talk. So just say okay. Okay, John, you got it.
Let me put it like this.
Wish you luck. I hope you get all the pussy you want, or all the pussy you don't want, or all the abstinence you want, or all the whatever it is that you want.
I'll tell you where he is. He doesn't want to be blamed, but he wants to be responsible. That's where he is.
It goes hand in hand.
Well, no.
If you're going to be responsible for something, you're going to be blamed for something. What do you mean when you say responsible versus blame? I'm going to ask that clarifying question, Herb, because I love you and I want to hear it. What do you mean? Because
blame is what somebody else is telling you did wrong. When you become accountable, you accept the responsibility for what you have done.
Right. Nobody got to tell you.
Right.
But when you don't accept responsibility, somebody got to tell you.
He's not there yet. This is why.
That's why I said to just say okay to John.
No. I understand what you're saying, and this is why. Okay, this is why I don't try and pin people down. Okay. I let them come into their own reality at their own time. Then they'll sit back and reflect and say, you know what? I should have did this sooner. It's like one of my good friends said. He said, when you get tired of being what you are, or you get tired of the results that you have, that's when you'll change.
Absolutely.
So that's why
he has to be clear.
No pun intended.
You cannot say, a person can't say, I love the chase, but when I get in a relationship, I want to be with them, but I don't like that they want to be with other people. Come on, you're unclear about what you want. You either want to be in a relationship or you don't. You either love the chase or you don't. That's the double talk. And so for me, it's okay I hope that whatever it is that you want, you get. And I hope that whatever growth it is that you need to go through, that you go through. And I hope that you do it sooner rather than later, because the longer you wait to decide to grow up and like really get yourself together before you assault other people's lives with the double talk that you do that you don't seem to realize that you do, the longer you're going to have these issues. I'm trying to be the longer you're going to have these issues.
Let me interject whatever. Let me interject. And I want to say this for John, as a 28-year-old. I give him much respect.
Once he went to abstinence, I was done.
Huh?
Once he went to abstinence, that he advocates for abstinence, I was done.
Yeah. He might have ad-libbed with that.
So you.
Huh? But what I do want to say is I want to give him respect for putting himself, because pretty much he's been on trial since he came on here. He's been on trial. So that's not easy. And I don't want John not to hesitate to not come back next week and the week after, because I believe this is a process that he can grow and learn from. Despite, 28 years old, whatever, like he seems like he got a lot going on, but I think he showed his hand too much to too many of these women where maybe that shouldn't have been the case, but I don't want him.
He's going to be all right.
Yeah, I don't want him.
Right. Yeah. He's going to be just fine. That's why I said I truly do wish that I hope him the best. I hope the best for him. Whatever it is you want, because you can have whatever you want in this life. That's all we were trying to tell you, that you don't have to lie. You don't have to deceive. But if you're lying to yourself, sweetie, we can't help you. You got to get the truth in your own head first. You got to be real truthful with yourself about what you want. And so, that's just it. So, yeah. I'm wishing him all the success, in the world, and hopefully no woman chops that throat, because you gonna run up on somebody that's gonna chop you right in the throat, dude. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I was done at the fourth clarifying question for me. Yes, boo. You gonna run into somebody that's dude, just tell me.
He's gonna run into somebody that's gonna do him exactly the way that he's doing. And
he did. He did.
It's gonna be so hard, and that right there. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Dave called it.
He did. It's either gonna grow you up or it's gonna make you a dog. One of the two. So
but he says we can be together, but if I'm not having sex with other people, you shouldn't either. Does he make that clear? Like,
girl,
who cares?
We don't really believe that, though. We don't. Really
I don't believe that
because he advocates for abstinence. Yeah. See how one lie just messes up the whole thing.
Hey, John. Hey, John, man, you might need to eat some little holiday humble pie right now, whatever. Just let it be. And we're going to pick this up next week, whatever.
Yeah.
We
you just got to say okay and well wishes. I hope he get what he wants for Christmas.
He wants abstinence for Christmas.
I respect John. You coming on here, boy. You set the world on fire. San Antonio. My man.
It's all right. That's all right. He'd be all right.
Girl, I'm still. He took me out with I advocate for abstinence.
Yes, when he said that, I was pretty much. Like, what? What? Did you just say you like to chase women? But what?
We're gonna wrap it up with some closing points, whatever. So, whatever. Quick 30-second closing points, whatever. I know John, the man, is gonna be many of our closing points.
Oh, he's gonna be talking about us like all kind of fools on his YouTube channel. Like I got on with these chicks and
he said, I got on with these old heads.
He's gonna come back and he might bring
these old fogies, these old fashioned. No, I'm trying to tell you how to get. I was just trying to tell you how to be successful, boo. But you got to, hey. Sometimes, like Herb said, I can lead you to water, but I can't make you drink, and I don't even think that's my job. I'm just gonna show you where it's at, and you do with it what you want to do with it.
Hey, when I was in my 20s, couldn't nobody tell me shit neither. So,
exactly. That's why I stopped talking. That's why we got to stop. You got to just, hey, you got to learn it for yourself. And everybody learns at a different rate. Everybody finds themselves at a different time. I don't think that it's a true statement that there's a blanket age, that men versus women find it. It's when you stop, like Herb, I think it was Herb that said, once you get tired of those results, that's when, and you may not get tired till you're 40. You might not get tired till you're 50. There's some 50-year-old men and women that's still out here acting like they did when they was 20, blaming the whole world for why they don't have what they want. So it's up to when you decide that you don't want those results anymore, when you stop, and here's my 30 seconds, when you start to check yourself more than you check other people. We always want to tell other people what they should do. And really, you don't have no control over what anybody else is going to do. The only person you have control over is you. And so you have to check yourself. Make sure that you're doing the right thing. If you're doing the right thing, then it doesn't matter what nobody else is doing. And you will have an out. That's your out, is making sure you're doing right. So check yourself more than you check other people, and your life is going to open up. And that's where, and fair exchange is no robbery. So stop being a fucking
always.
Stop.
Rebecca, talk to me. Give me your 30 seconds.
I just have to say that I loved it this evening. These ladies, y'all just inspire me. It was nice to hear so many different perspectives from different ages. I agree with this young lady over here. I'm definitely self-reflective. And I think that's where I found my true happiness. It makes it easy for me to date or pick a man, say yes, say no, because I know what I want. And I'm not really worried about what someone else wants for me. It makes it easy for me to sift through, all that mud, and find what I'm looking for. I think that's why I had so many negative things to say on past podcasts, because I was just like, I'm not in that category. That don't pertain to me. We ain't all like that. And just having 4 different women on here with 4 different views, and all of them being correct, and even the men listening to your point of view, they were all correct. They all made sense to me, that we can all be different. We can all come from a different background, have a different view, and still have an open conversation and make sense of it all. So I'll be joining y'all on a regular. I was supposed to be in Cyber Sanctuary right now, but I'm going to make it a point to join you all regularly. And again, I agree with her. Be true to yourself. Because people say that you can lie to yourself, but you can't. As soon as you tell yourself a lie, you hear that voice in your head telling you to stop. So you can't even lie to yourself. You can lie to everybody else. So it was wonderful tonight. Thank y'all for letting me join.
I appreciate your insight, whatever. And we definitely want you back. Anita, talk to me.
I don't even know what to say.
What you not gonna say is about them damn feet. Them dick germs. Not gonna say that.
You got some explaining to do.
The dick germs. I just do not like the dick germs all over my house. But
we got that one.
Besides that, I enjoy this platform because there's a lot of different perspectives, and I grew up in the military way of life. So from 18 to 30 something, I was in the military, and it's a whole different world than I'm living now. So I have to relearn things that I didn't learn already. So I'm still, this is helping me with personal growth and kind of reinventing myself as adult woman, not in the military. So I'm still learning how to grow into that. And I have not had, like, I've never been married. I've had long-term relationships in the military, and it was difficult. So being in this world is very confusing.
I love you.
You know.
I'm sorry, Anita. That was so rude. I'm sorry, but I was excited that she came back. I thought we lost her.
Hi. But yeah, so I find this empowering, and I have a minor in women's studies, and it just it amazes me about the young people like John. He's 28, but when I was growing up in the military at 28, we were the guys were more responsible and mature. And now it seems like we want to coddle everybody, and that is not helping anybody. So anyway, I appreciate everybody's perspective, and I'm still learning. And after 7 times, I think I have enough bruises on my head, and
girl, we're gonna try to get you down to like 2. We gonna get baby, because it shouldn't take you 7. We're gonna try to get that stove, because I just want you to be headache free, boo boo. So we're gonna
it's a form of speech. Maybe it wasn't 7.
We're gonna work you down. That's all right, because that explains a lot when you explain that, because I'm a veteran as well, but I entered the military at 27, so I'd already lived my life and been established. I had 2 kids, so it made me understand immediately when you said that from 18 to a certain age you were in, it's a very different life in the military. Relationships are very different, the dynamics and how they go. So no, I appreciate you, girl. I'm with you. I love you to death. I really
love you too. And I'm mad you weren't here last week because the Urban Dictionary came out.
Oh my God.
It sure did. It was a little X-rated.
Scorpio, talk to me. 30. Give you a quick summary of feedback to close it out.
I was just going to say, I'm actually really glad that you guys allowed me to come on and participate in this illustrious event. I appreciate that. I'm also just going to say to always bear in mind that there is no blueprint for anything. What works for one may not work for another, but you build according to who you are and who you're with, so on and so forth. So I hope to come back again sometime soon. I'm going to make an effort. The last week something happened with my mom, so I wasn't not able to come, but I'm going to try to be here. I'm going to try to be here. If y'all let me.
Appreciate it. Oh, you are.
Wait, I have one more comment. So I love that. Okay, so obviously I'm not African American, and I love that you guys' culture are so so strong and so tight, and I feel like I need more friends like you guys, because sometimes you have friendships that are just stagnant and you're not learning or growing. So I appreciate you guys, and I love you guys.
We love
so you telling me you're not Black?
We heart. Right, what?
Wait a minute.
You had the quote of the day. Dick germs. Like, hey,
what you mean?
I've had Black in me, but no, I'm not Black, and I'm not Hispanic. I'm Western Asian.
That was too easy. I was about to get you. It was too easy. I ain't want to do it.
You
want to do it. It was too easy. It was too easy. You left it open.
Do we need a clarifying question?
Yeah, wow.
Yes, I've had black in me. I'm just not black technically.
I think that was pretty clear.
Yeah. Was that clear for you, Surya?
Listen, when she said the dude said whip, I knew that. Well, okay, yeah, I know exactly.
I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about whipped cream and whipping his ass in bed, maybe with my leather belt. Like, if you get to that level, to get to my bed, to make the magic happen, you're gonna get probably the leather belt. When I'm in that kind of mood,
Anita is like, you're getting the belt.
Wow.
And I will show them a belt. My leather belt, my black leather belt is in a heart on my bedspread.
John is going to be in your inbox, girl. You better stop. John is going to be in your inbox.
I forget this is live. This is how we watch it. I forget.
Yeah.
I forget that part.
John gonna be sending you down to Texas, whatever.
John gonna be right there, like, so about that crop in them leather boots. John's gonna be right up in your inbox. You better stop.
And I'm gonna tell John I need the presidential suite on the Riverwalk with the 12.
Look, since he put it out there,
the 12-foot table in the presidential suite.
All right. Herb said, I don't know if his battery died, but you know his saying, growth and understanding occurs in the gray area. You know, he said, Godspeed. So that's his quote. And me, hey, I loved it all, whatever. All the different perspectives and the different things. And even for John to come on and take a risk where he was pretty much put to trial. He was on trial tonight, whatever. But that's only going to make him stronger for different people from different point of views coming at him. And
I like the fact that he didn't get mad either, because we were like, it was kind of rough.
John wasn't on trial. John came to the town hall meeting and said what he had to say and dealt with the consequences.
We said what we said.
And get ready to run some new game on somebody.
And I tried to give it to him, so I hope he wrote it down. But Anita, I guarantee you it's gonna be a DM. Tell us if it is, girl, because I want to know.
Well, wait a minute.
If
he's gonna take care of me and I don't have to have sex with them, that's even better.
It might be you.
I don't have to do anything
with that. John gonna want some work.
I don't have no dick germs. I don't have no bed sheet germs. I'm just going out to dinner and going to the Alamo and.
Oh, he's in here. John, you here?
Just for the record, John's last comment up here says, I mean, I agree. I do have some things to work on in myself, and I appreciate all of you. So there was some type of leeway made. Thanks be to God.
We're gonna clap for that. Okay.
All right. So thank you all for joining this. This was great, whatever. And look at it. 3 hours. That's what we talk about. I scheduled this stuff from 9 to 10, but I know damn well it's no way possible.
It's gonna get too good.
Yeah, the conversations is so good, and we need this right now. If all that we're going through, whatever, we need these outlets, whatever. And hopefully one day I have people like, damn, man, I was trying to get in, and we got a waiting list, whatever, to get in, because in this platform, you only can have up to, well, me and Herb, eight other people. So, hey, we off to a great start, whatever. Great conversation, and bring your truth to it and your situations, and we're going to have some disagreements. We're going to disagree. But the bottom line is to learn. Is when you sit back and you self-reflect and you say, man, they made a good point with her. I might have not said it on there, but next week when I come on there, I'm going to admit that this is that. Like, hey, who was it? Rebecca said, me and her, but annoy the hell out of her. Hey, that let me know. Soraya said, I don't like some things that Dave said, but I kind of agree with it and her.
Yeah, because we don't even have to like it. I respect you, and so that's why it doesn't matter if I like everything that you say, because what you're saying is coming from your experience, and I cannot be disrespectful to whatever it is that you've gone through, or that Herb is going through, or Anita, or any of the other beautiful ladies up here. We have to be able to. We don't have to agree, but we do have to listen. So that we know that it's mofos that think like y'all out there. I needed to know that it's mofos out there like Herb. I can't move his furniture. I bet not kick his cat. Like, you know what I'm saying? I needed to know that. Dave needs you to call him back in 15 minutes, and if you don't, he up out of there. I needed to know that. So we need to know about everybody. I love the fact that this is growing. I see it growing, and that we keep it friendly, that we keep it respectful to one another and one another's lifestyle. So kudos to you, Dave. Good one. I love it. Absolutely.
Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope everybody has a safe holiday week.
Same to you, ma'am.
That is coming up. That is coming up. Whatever. So everybody,
is it snowing
stay
there?
safe.
Oh wait, did you guys see my special little Christmas lady tree?
Oh, okay, with the trees, whatever.
That's no chocolate. Listen, all of what's going. Hold it a little bit closer, boo. Yeah. What's at the top?
Oh, this is a lady.
It's a lady.
Is that a tree form?
Yeah.
Dress form?
And this is her skirt.
Oh, yeah. Got you. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, y'all gonna get us my Christmas ugly sweater. That's what y'all gonna get from me.
I wanted to speak on it, but I was wondering when you stood up and walked away. I had questions. But,
no, I was trying to be. I was being funny.
She said I wanted to speak on it.
I was being funny.
Because, I was wondering if you was going out in public like that or
I was being funny when I put this on.
Okay, but if you like it, I love it for you.
Thank you.
You can't go nowhere with me looking like that. But, you're going to have to work on some things.
Okay, Rebecca, I'm going to come on you next week.
But no.
I appreciate it, whatever. This is all.
We're not going in public with that sweater. You're going to change.
Yeah, we got to change.
and that's all good. And those is conversations that we have to have. And we talk about that. Are you willing to tell that person? Where you going with that on? Where you going with that on?
Yes, I am. And I'm going to win that one. Yeah, you ain't going nowhere with me looking like that.
Come on, man. You're making me seem like I'm just looking horrible tonight.
No, baby. All of this right here, all of this is that's good. You just take the shirt. Take that off.
Trust me, Rebecca's about to come out, whatever. I'm just trying to be festive, whatever. That's all.
Put a wreath behind you on the wall. You'll be good.
And it's winter solstice, so it's the longest night of the year.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I had a great time tonight. Whatever. We pushed 3 hours. Whatever. Yeah. Wow. And this is amazing. Whatever. Time flies by. But everybody be safe. Enjoy your holidays. If you celebrate it or not, just be safe. Enjoy your family. And we're going to connect next week or whatever. We're going to do it up again. So I appreciate y'all. And everybody have a good night.
Good night and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right, we out.
Oh, my laptop's just about to die. I don't even know how to log off here.